Welcome to Dark. Dark. open your mind. Yeah,
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought Series, right here on the old TPOT YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Tonight, of course, is DXL Dark X Live. And tonight, we got a special show for y'all tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Mama's Boys, as you can see in the title. And I will be joined by Brother TAZ from TAZ Exclusives. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who the brother is. Yeah, Taz going to be up on here tonight. He'll probably be the first one on. Of course, I'm going to have the usual suspects like we always do on DXL. You know, the usual suspects always come through. So we're going to have that going on. But I think we're going to have Brother Taz up here first. Also, I want to thank y'all. I got a couple donations the other night. I want to thank y'all for that. Those of you who donated, you know who you are, because I did email y'all this morning early. It was the first thing I did. As soon as I got up, before I went to work or anything, I wrote those emails, because I know sometimes I'll be slipping y'all. I'll be letting a few days go by because so much shit be going on. I'm very busy. Those of you who know me, y'all know what I do for a living. Y'all know that I own 2 power mechanic shops. And I'm sun up from sundown. And a lot of times, man, I'll be so damn tired. Man, I come in here, man, and I hit the showers and I hit the rack. So, I mean, don't be mad at me if I take a long time. Y'all know I'm always going to write you back. Sometime I mess around and I don't write you back for like 3-4 days. It's not on purpose. It's just that I can't get into, you know, I don't have time to get into all my emails because I have quite a few of them. Most of them are for work, but I do have my emails for, you know, this stuff, for the YouTube stuff. So, you know, if I take a couple days and not write you back, don't be mad. It's because you know me, I like to write you back. Those of you who donate to me on a regular basis, y'all know I always write you back. Thank you. Write you a personal email. Talk shit to you too, most of the time. But always write you back. Thank you for supporting this channel, because I do appreciate y'all. Not just your coins. I mean, your coins are nice. Okay, I'm not gonna sit up and act like they're not. You donate your coins. You don't have to, but you choose to do so. It is greatly appreciated. But I don't just appreciate your money. I appreciate you showing up here every Wednesday, every Thursday. I appreciate your views, your contributions in the chat, your subscriptions, your views, all of that. Okay, I do. I appreciate when y'all write me email and y'all, you know, express your views about certain things that I do or do not do. I appreciate that too. That's all part of it. And like I said, you know, it's not all about your money. The fact that you're here, the fact that you watch, the fact that you show up here every week, I consider you a supporter of this channel, and it is greatly appreciated. Like I always say, I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I mean, I'm beyond words the way that y'all support this channel, and it's appreciated, man. It is. But anyway, like I said, tonight, we're gonna go down with talking about Mama's Boys. And like I said, we're gonna have Brother Taz here from Taz Exclusives pretty soon. I don't want to start talking about Brother TAZ, because let me be clear. Everybody in here knows about this brother, right? Everybody knows who he is, and a lot of people say a lot of shit about him. I was actually on someone else's stream the other day, and I said, I don't give a shit what y'all say about this brother. I like this dude. You know, he doesn't strike me as a conformist. You know, he doesn't follow the flock. Now, do I agree with everything the brother says? Absolutely not. I don't agree with everything anyone says on here, but he doesn't follow the flock. He cuts his own trail, man, and you know, he don't have a problem with bringing it, you know. And a lot of people call him stupid and call him dumb and call him idiots and all this kind of stuff when they know that that's not true. Because I can probably name about 25 people right now who are way more dumb and way more ignorant than this brother. You never hear nobody calling him dumb or ignorant. But I'm not going to go too deep into Brother TAZ. I'm gonna let him come up here and talk about it himself. But we are going to talk about the Mama's Boys. Now, those of you who follow the Prophet of Thought series, y'all know that I'm very biased about these old mamas. Yeah, I'm very, hey, peace, Lady Nine. I see you up there. I'm very biased about these old mamas. Yeah, I'm very biased about them because I feel like a lot of them, whether it be purposely or inadvertently, I feel like some of them destroy these children's lives. Now, am I talking about every single woman on this planet? Of course not. Anyone who thinks so is just stupid and not using their head. But we know that there is quite a substantial amount of women who are raising children alone. And these women are not only are they not teaching these children the things they need to know. I think a lot of these children come out misguided because of the things that they have been taught by their mothers. I'm a man. I have offspring myself, so I understand how it is to have children that are balanced. I mean, and I was fortunate, brother. I say that all the time. I mean, my parents were married for 56 years. Okay. My father died. My parents were married for 56 years. So I grew up in a household with a bunch of kids, but I also grew up in a household where my mother and my father were married. Okay. There were 9 of us, but it was a structure. It was a pecking order. It was a standard set, okay, in that household. And some things were unacceptable. Now, what we often see in media, what we often see in our real lives are standards that have not been established. And I'm a true believer that that is the reason why some portions of Black society, some pockets of Black society are the way that they are, because we have a lot of people in Black society who do not, or should I say, have not been raised and taught and counseled and instructed in the basic standards in life, the basic rules in life. And I think that many of those things that take place, they take place because none of those things have been established. And when it comes to order, when it comes to discipline, when it comes to structure, I just believe that men are better at teaching that than most women. That's just what I believe. I'm a true believer that a child can learn more on the weekend going to visit his father living in a tent in the woods than he could learn in a month with his mama in the mansion. That's just my belief. Okay, that's just my belief. But getting back to the topic of the show, with that, a lot of young men who have been raised by just their mother have a tendency to be somewhat different than men who have been raised by their father. Now, I know people will say, well, I know someone, who, had a mother and a father and they ended up in prison and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but the reality is this, you're less likely to be a thief, a robber, a killer. You're less likely to be a high school dropout. You're less likely to be on drugs. You're less likely to be pregnant by the time you're 13. You're less likely to be somewhere in the penitentiary if you have a man in your life, right? That's just a fact. We can dispute it and make arguments over the exceptions, but we know that you're more likely to be kind of on a straighter path if you have a man in your life. We just know that that's true. Okay, even if we don't want to admit it. But a lot of these young men, because we talk about men tonight, we're not talking about women. A lot of these men have been raised by just their mother. Okay. And they have a tendency to take on feminine traits. Many of these men are effeminate because they have been feminized. Especially if they grew up in a house with their mama and a bunch of sisters and auntie and grandma. I mean, it's almost impossible for them not to pick up these female traits because this is what they're living. All right. Like it's impossible for these women to teach these young men about manhood. The only thing they know about manhood is the men they've dealt with, the men that fuck their asses. That's about the extent of knowledge of manhood that they have. So of course they are teaching these young men to be somewhat effeminate, to react somewhat effeminate, to think somewhat effeminate. Okay? That's just a fact. But as men grow older and they get away from mama, they can kind of break away from that shit, especially if they're not a mama's boy. But if you look up and you 25, 30, 35, 40, and you still living with mama, it's hard for me not to see you as a mama's boy. I mean, it is what it is. And the thing is, I think many of these women encourage this, especially if they don't have a man. Because, if you have sons, that's the one swinging dick you can control no matter what. He's 35, he's 36, he's 37. He living in mama attic. He living in mama basement, yelling up from the basement or yelling down from the attic. Mom, we out of cereal. I think a lot of women actually enjoy that. They enjoy being needed by a man, even if that man is their son. If y'all can understand what I'm saying. I truly believe that many of these women encourage this mama's boy train of thought because, see, they rather enjoy their 35-year-old son living in the basement. They rather enjoy their 35-year-old son living there playing Madden, Fortnite, Call of Duty all day. They rather enjoy buying his cigarettes, buying his beer, allowing him to have his hoes, spend nights, even though he's 38. I think some of these women rather enjoy it, especially if they don't have a man, because, see, many of them, they dread being alone. Therefore, they don't have a problem with their 40-year-old son still living in the basement. Okay? They have no problem with it. All right? Because the son is like the pseudo husband. Yeah, that's right, Brother Brandon. The son is like the pseudo husband. They don't care that he's 35 with no job, playing Call of Duty all day long. Him and his bum ass friends down in the basement smoking reefer with their no working asses. she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She doesn't care that he has to drive her car. She doesn't care that she got to give him money to buy his beer, buy his cigarettes, shit, give money to buy weed and shit too, probably. Because, see, he is truly a mama's boy. And she loves it. You can't tell me one woman who has a problem with her son being a mama's boy, especially if she don't have a man. She don't have a problem with that at all. He can live there till she die. Because she know if her old ass get too old to do anything, she got Sonny boy living down in the basement. He'll be able to take care of her. You know, something she couldn't get a man to do. So, of course, these mama boys are great for them. And make no mistake, you 30, 35 years old, man, and you living with your mama, you are goddamn mama's boy. And I don't care what your reasoning is. Ain't nowhere in the hell you should be 35, 40, still living in your mama basement with no job, no money, no car. Sitting around playing PlayStation and Xbox all day and being up on here trying to give us soliloquies about Kimmin and shit. Y'all goddamn mama's boy. This is why a lot of brothers, because you know, you hear brothers all on the internet talking about women and the shit that goes on with women. And you would think that mostly women would be angry. But a lot of these brothers are angry too when they hear you talk about these women. You know why? Because, see, when you talk about these women, it reminds them of their old mama. When you describing these women, you ain't just describing their sisters. You ain't just describing their girlfriends or the chicks they know. A lot of times you're describing their old mama. Because, see, back in the day, she was old hood rat. I mean, she's 50 now, but shit, she wasn't always 50. At some point, she was 20, out there slinging it, hardcore. And see, she taught you that she was infallible. She could do no wrong. She molded you into a mama's boy to think that she was the all supreme. She was the golden calf. So she groomed you into being a mama's boy. Why you think you got people running around here talking about the black woman is God? Of course they say that, because their old mamas trained them and taught them to worship her. Worship they mama. Not like your father. Your father don't expect you to worship him. He expects you to respect him. Your mama's different. Mom wants to be worshiped. And we will not indict mom, no matter how bad she is. Especially the mama's boys. No matter how many Negroes she dragged through the house. No matter how many brothers came through that house and molested your sisters. Beat the hell out of her. You were still supposed to think that mom was the greatest. Even when she starved you. Even when she left you home by yourself for days in. As she went out and smoked crack and drunk and sucked dicks. You were still made to believe that she was the ultimate. She was the supreme one. Because she groomed you into being a mama's boy. When you hear people talk about protecting women, they're not thinking about protecting all these random ass women out here. They're not thinking about that. Their mind falls right back to their old mama because they're mama's boys. They want to protect mama from the criticism, protect mama from the accountability, the culpability. And they see all these other hoes out here as mama. Because a lot of these hoes, they do the same shit that their old mama did. They watched their mama do this shit when they were little kids. So now that they're adults, they think it's perfectly normal because they're mama's boys. You cannot critique mama. You can't say nothing bad about mama. Therefore, all these people that they see as mama, they don't want you saying anything about them either. They don't want you saying anything about them. Nothing. Not a damn word. Because, see, they think about their mom. You always hear these dudes. You always hear these dudes talking about how much they love their mama. Oh, that's my mama. That's my mama. And they will say that no matter what kind of mama they had. Like I said, your mama could have been an old crackhead who left you home for 5 days with nothing to eat in there but bread, molded bread, and a box of raisins. And this is the line that gets me from these mama's boys. Mama did the best she could. Bullshit. She smoked crack. She sucked dicks. She brought men around you. They molested you. They molested your sisters. They beat the shit out of her. That wasn't the best she could do, my brothers. That wasn't the best. She didn't do the best she could. Half clothed you, half housed you, half fed you. She wasn't doing the best she could, man. She was doing as little as she could. As little as she could. She did the best she could at teaching you to always worship her. Yeah. She did the best she could with that. But she didn't do the best she could, man. Especially if she allowed those Negroes she dragged in the house to molest you. She wasn't doing the best she could, mama's boy. She wasn't doing the best she could when she took that little piggy bank that you had and broke it open and took it and spent it on beer and cigarettes. That wasn't mama doing the best she could. That wasn't mama doing the best she could, barely taking care of you. She wasn't doing the best she could, mama's boy, when she had you and 7 of your brothers living in a damn 1-bedroom apartment. Mama's boy. And I think that has crippled us, just like it cripples young boys and young men today. Because now it's even worse. Because young boys got to watch their mama shake their ass on YouTube. You got 16-year-old men, 16-year-old young men who are Facebook friends with their mama and grandmama, seeing pictures of their damn grandmama flash her ass for people and wear freaking coochie cutting shorts and ass showing jeans and all this kind of nonsense. And they can't say anything because, see, they've been groomed to be mama's boys. So they can't critique mama. Mama is infallible. There's no critiquing mama. She made sure that. She made sure that you were a mama's boy. So what? She 50 on Facebook trying to get likes. showing people old wrinkly ass. You can't say nothing about that. That's mom. Mama's boy. You can't disagree with that. You can't rub up against that. Mama's boy. Just like you can't critique it when you see other people doing it. Mama's boy. Because see, these hoes that you see, like I said, they just like your old mama. You remember that. That shit is stamped in your brain. It's stamped in your brain. Every damn woman you see remind you of your old mama. Every woman you see remind you of your old mama. Especially the ones that ain't shit. Especially the ones that ain't shit. They remind you of your old mama. That's why you coddle them. Make excuses for them. That's why you do it. People who didn't come up in that crap, they don't defend it. They don't talk about white supremacy made it happen and it's because of the white power structure. People who didn't grow up with old mama like that, they don't say that shit. They call it what it is. But those of you who were molded into these mammy boys, you think anything a woman do is okay. Why? Because anything your old mama did was okay. Anything your old piece of crap aunties did was okay. The only ones who probably had any dignity or integrity was your grandmama. She probably was the last woman in your bloodline that had any damn integrity or honor. Nowadays, we don't even got that. Especially when you got grandmothers that's like 35 and 30, like brother Judge just said in the chat room. These hoes still hanging out with people half their age, sitting in a damn kitchen, drinking beer with their teenage sons and their teenage sons' friends. Shit, and probably sucking some of their dicks, you would imagine. And you have to act like that shit is normal. And you act like it because you're a mama's boy. Of course you think it's normal. You think anything mama does is normal. No matter what it is. Shit, she could walk into your school with a crack pipe in her mouth, and you would think that is normal. You wouldn't even feel embarrassed. You so much of a mama's boy that your mama could walk up in there and have a crack pipe hanging out her mouth, dressed like a damn hooker, and smelling like a whole bucket of semen. And you would think it was perfectly normal. She's mama. I'm a mama's boy. Of course this is normal. Of course this is normal. Right? Mama's boy. I get yeah, brother LaShawn, I know, man. You know, I mean, because I had a mom too. Now, don't get me wrong, because y'all know X is biased against these old mamas. If y'all have been following the Proper Thought series, y'all know what I think of these old mamas, okay? I had a mother too, all right? And my mother was mean as shit. But guess what? That mean shit was balanced out. Why? Because I had my old man. Like I said, my parents were married for 56 years. I mean, I was 30. what was I, 36 when my father died? So my father was my father was in my life all the way up to my 30s. So the bullshit that I endured with my mom was balanced out by my father. And my father pretty much raised me primarily. You know, I mean, I didn't have to deal with my mom that much. My father raised me primarily, taught me every damn thing I know, you know, and I was the youngest son. So I was around my father more than my older brothers and shit were. So I spent the bulk of my life learning, the bulk of my child experience, the bulk of my teenage years, you know, being with my father, learning from my father, working with my father. Because, you know, my father, he was a blue collar guy just like me. He had his own business. I worked along in that business with my old man from the time I was like 7 years old. So, I mean, I was raised by men. I mean, my brothers were a lot older than me. So I was always around men my whole life as a young man. Okay. Now, once I got away from my parents, you know, you get away, you start being around women, and, you know, you got pussy on your mind, you know, and you simp. I think all of us go through like a simp stage. You know, we go through that simp stage, you know, where we chase an ass and will do anything for it. We'll go through anything for it, endure anything for it, until we finally, till a switch clicks on and you're like, hey, wait a damn minute. Wait a minute. Peace, good doctor. I see you up there. You know, you're like, wait a minute. This ain't the way shit's supposed to be. And I tell brothers all the time, you know, I was red pill before red pill was red pill. But I didn't get to that until I got to be like, probably in like my mid-20s. You know, and like I said, I was raised primarily like a man, by a man. But also coming up, we had these ideas about women where, you know, you couldn't say anything to them. You couldn't curse, you know, in front of women. You weren't supposed to raise your voice in front of women, you know, all this kind of nonsense. Don't talk to them a certain way. They're women. Allow them to be stupid. You know, that kind of crap. I also came up in that. So I understand the mama boy thing, because see, at the very least I had my old man to kind of challenge and balance that shit out. I mean, when you don't have your old man to balance it out, guess what? Guess what? You just think it's all right. Mama's boys are the ones who go off and be with women just like their mama. Okay? Those women who have groomed men into mama's boys, they are the ones who say, oh, he want a woman just like his mama. And usually it's old baby mama who's saying that. Yes, he's usually old baby mama saying that. Because see, because you are a mama's boy, she wants you to get a woman just like her. Or old baby mama just like her. Old broad who ain't worth $5 just like her. Mama's boy. Because see, if you get the exact opposite of her, if you get somebody who's better than her, it confirms her failure. It confirms her failure. Shit, my father told me a long time ago. Shit, boy, you don't go out there looking for no woman that's like your mama. The hell you want a woman that's like her for? That's what my old man told me. I never even considered trying to get a woman who was just like my mama. Get the hell out of here. One mama is enough. Because see, if you're old mama's boy, however your mama treated you, even if she treated you awful, you will find yourself gravitating to the same type of women who treat your ass awful, treat you like they are your mama, treat you like you are their son. You understand? You understand? Now, I know people will get mad with X saying that old stuff. Hey, doctor, see you up there. Oh, shit, both the docs in the house tonight. Get out. I know people will get mad, right? They'll be like, oh, X, man, you shouldn't say this stuff, man. You shouldn't say these types of things. But I'm saying it because it's true. Now, we often talk about baby mamas. We often talk about the effect of this single, unwed motherhood and what it does to children. We often talk about this kind of stuff, right? And you will hear people say, oh, well, you know, the men aren't around, you know, so they got some fault in it too. Now, there is a smidgen of truth to that. A smidgen. Because, see, what has happened is a lot of these women, they have decided to lay down with these mama's boys. They've decided to let these mama boys ejaculate inside of them. Yeah, mama's boys. Why? Because, see, they liked these mama's boys. Yeah, they liked them. They liked these mama's boys. Because, make no mistake, ladies, I know some of you love a brother who is subservient to you. You love these brothers who will do anything for that old funky hole between your legs. I know a lot of you women like this kind of stuff. Now, I know it's not all of you. No, it's not all of you. But some of you like it. You like it. I've heard women complain about it. Oh, he's just a mama's boy. Yeah, but the same mama's boy, you ain't trying to leave him because he's a mama's boy. Because I think deep down in your subconscious, you love the fact that he's a mama's boy. Because as long as his mama can run all over him, grown-ass man, you know that it also opens the door for you to do the same thing. Because if mama runs all over him, guess what? You fucking him. You know you're going to be able to run all over him, especially if you dangle that old funk box in front of his face and say, hey, I got this here. I got this here for you. So, of course, you're going to be able to run over him. I mean, come on. Now, I know many of these mama's boys, it's not their fault, okay? They were trained and groomed as mama's boys from a very young age. And it takes a lot to snap out of it when you're an adult, especially if you grow up with no male influence, no grandfather, no father, no uncle, no male cousin, no male cousin to teach you some man shit. You're screwed up. All you got is your old sisters, your old mama, your old trollop aunties. Shoot, you might have an old trollop grandmama. I don't know. All you have is that. How can you not be a mama's boy when you're living under those conditions? So I don't blame all of you for being that way. I don't blame all of you for being that way. But some of you choose to be mama's boys, even long after you're away from mama, doing the same shit mama would do, reacting to things the way mama would react. Shit you think, speak, conduct yourself just like your mama do. Those are the men, if you can call them that many of us have a problem with. The so-called simp that we talk about on media all the time. They're mama's boys, man. That's why they simp for women. That's why they simp for ass, simp for attention from these women. They're mama's boys. That's why they do it. They don't know anything else. They don't know any better. They can't help themselves because they simped for mama. No matter how fucked up mama was, no matter how horrible of a parent she was, doesn't matter. They simped for her. So of course they simped for you. Why wouldn't they? You remind them of mama. Especially if you are volatile like old mama, belligerent like old mama, violent like old mama, uncooperative like old mama, old hoe bag. Oh, old hoe bag like old mama. Shit, she's just like mama. I love her. even what I love her. She's just like old mom. Shit. And I don't know what the hell happened to Brother TAZ. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start bringing in some of the usual suspects. How about that? I'll start bringing in some of the usual suspects. All right? I see my man BMT in there. Got to bring him in. Brother CRU. I see him in there. I think I saw my man Judge Dre. So I'm going to bring in some of the usual suspects because I don't know what the hell happened to Brother TAZ. Might have to get him on later. He might be on another stream because despite all the shit people talk, Brother TAZ is really popular. So let me go ahead and bring in some of the usual suspects. You know, let's do that. Let's do that. Check emails, brothers. You know, I got to bring in my brother BMT. That's my dude. Got to bring him in on the set. Brother Judge, you want in on this too? I'm going to send you the link too, brother. Emails, brother. They coming through. Check your emails. Check your emails. Check your emails. Shit, I got these doctors in the house. I need to be getting them up here. They need to analyze some of this stuff. Need some doctors in here analyzing some of this shit. What's good, Doc? You got some time or what? You got some time to analyze some of these mama's boys? I know you probably working while you watching. I know you like a workaholic. He said Taz is saving. LaShawn, you ain't right, man. He said Taz is saving his mama. You wrong, man. You wrong for that one, brother. Brother CRU, brother CRU, you want in on this, man? I'm gonna send it to you too, brother. You wrong for that one, brother. Brother LaShawn. Wrong, man. That ain't right. Oh, you want to come on, brother LaShawn? Send me an email, man. I don't want to put the link in the chat. You know, that's how you get people showing their damn penises and whatnot. So just send me an email here. I got you. All right. And put it in the chat. But you know, people are stupid. And next thing you know, some dude up there showing everybody's penis and shit. You know, that kind of shit be happening up in here. There you go, brother. Send me an email there and I'll send you the link, all right? No shit. Who that? Who that?
BMT. My
brother BMT, brother Judge. What's good? What's good, man?
What's good?
Great show, man.
Yeah, I'm just up here ranting about these mama boys, man. Anybody else want to put anything? Anybody else want to add anything?
You ever notice how we all started off a mama's boy, but then it's like sooner or later you break away from that shit because you realize that it's all fucked up.
I think this is a hefty topic, X.
Yeah.
Because 70% of the Black community is under the matriarchal mindset. And like Judge said, like it's you have to break away. You have to break away. Especially if the mother allows the father or that male to participate. Because I mean, for a lot of people to understand for those who are parents, fathers, when our boys or when a boy is born, the father doesn't really too much. He ain't all up on the boy. He allows him to be nurtured by the mother. But then as time goes on, we start saying, "Oh, hell, he fell down. Back up, woman." He has to feel that pain. Get up, boy. You're gonna, and the women will see you like that. But see, in the mama's eyes, the mama, she's like, I don't like the way how that man is handling my son. Maybe I can recreate him. See, it's one thing that we've seen and heard on this panel. I don't need your father. I did it all by myself. You know, I can do it all myself. And we gotta break the myth. A woman cannot recreate and build a man. It's impossible. It's infallible. I don't know why this myth came about, but see that we can't pretend like we don't be hearing that. I made him into a man. Well, how did you do that? Because you've never been a man. How can you know the instructional tutelage of being a man? You can only go off of your design of what you want to see as a man. So now this is why you start to see these boys, you know, highly emotional, highly effeminate, you know, easily timid, or they can't handle
pain.
They can't handle, like, if Judge would say, hey man, hey BMT, you fucking up. Get your shit together, or you'll get off the goddamn ship. Now, if I'm a man and I've been raised properly,
that don't bother you.
Yeah, it's okay. You know what? He told me what it is. Whether it been with the crew there or behind closed doors, I should be able to take that lick and keep on moving. Because you gotta understand that that's the role in the mindset of that being a man. You're going to take licks, whether you like them or not. People don't have to like your ass. You built for this. And if
And
you're
on
not,
top,
go ahead.
on top of that, you got to be able to work together with the person you may not like that much.
Shit, listen, I've had plenty of days I kept trying to get my money back from my wife, but shit, to death do you part. But that's
no, but I'm talking about what you said on the. I'm going to relate on that part where you say, like, if a man tell you something and you don't like what he hear, you may not like it, but you understand that it's constructive criticism, and you don't take it to we got to throw blows over that. And you may not like me, but me and you can still work together and get a job done.
I agree. Now let me hit on something. A lot of y'all mama boys, the reason why y'all ass got locked up, or a lot of your boys been shot, because you didn't have a father telling you to shut the fuck up when that cop gets there. You see, whenever you dealt with a man or been around a certain type of dominatory man in the home, you may not like what your father or your granddaddy said, but you knew if you said the wrong thing, he was gonna correct your ass right there on the fucking spot.
I gotta push back on that BMT.
Huh?
I gotta push back on that.
No. Okay, you can put back, but I'm saying I knew if I had looked at my father the wrong way when he was disciplining me in the house, or if I had said something back, oh, that was me. That was me on the ground with a busted up lip, because my father didn't take that shit. Now, after a while, like no matter how big I got, my dad still knew how to take me down. He still knew how to bust me down like a man. And the thing about it was, he told me one time, he said, listen, this is going to save you, boy. Because one day you're going to be at a force bigger than you, and you think that you could take that man. But you better learn how to play it down. And I didn't understand until one day there was a squad car, and that was a bad day with that cop. Yeah, he was rude. Yeah, he was belligerent. Yeah, I said, I could beat this little Poindexter motherfucker. But I understood that played back subconsciously back in my mind. I need to play it down. Yes, sir. No, sir. All right. Now get your ass back in the car. I could have said something back. I could have cut back, took my ticket, got back in the car, put my jacket on, drove away. I lived to fight another day. Now somebody will say, man, Joe, you a whole bitch. You should have fought back. Right. How many guys played that game and played that emotional, who got the biggest swing on the block and end up getting dropped?
Well, your dad teaches you to realize that you can't fight all battles, and sometimes you got to let a motherfucker get their jollies off because you're just not in the right position to capitalize.
Correct.
Now, I understand that, right?
Go ahead, bro.
So, but what I'm going to say is specifically to the cop thing, right? Because I got a good friend of mine. We grew up, like, can y'all hear me good?
No, yeah, we hear you.
Okay, yeah, so I got a good friend of mine. I grew up like down the street from R. Kelly, like good, big neighborhood. You know what I mean? Good neighborhood. You know what I mean? Black neighborhood. So everybody boule out there, Jack and Jill types and all of this, right? So my buddy, he grew up with his parents still married. You know what I mean? And but he would say his dad, when the cops pull him over, he acts like a white man. He gets out the car and walks over to the police like, why the hell did you pull me over? You get me? Like he's not going for none of this I'm black shit or this and that. Like, what the hell did you pull me over for? You know what I mean? I follow the rules.
No,
now,
I wasn't going off of I'm black. I was going off of knowing how to control.
No, I know. That's why I'm getting to that. I get you. So, but they also, all of them know Kung Fu and, you know what I mean? Well, no, I think it's Taekwondo or something. Like, dude can beat my ass all day. So I'm, you know what I mean? Even though he's younger than me. And you know what I mean? I can talk shit to him and he won't touch me. I still know my limits. You feel me? It's like you talking to these young dudes in the streets. You feel me? Yeah, you got your status as a big person or a knowledgeable person or whatever. But like if you disrespect them, they got their squad there, they'll deal with you. So it's the way you've got to carry yourself. And that's what I do agree with, in knowing which battles you're gonna fight. You feel me? If you're surrounded by 12 cops, I mean, unless you're like John Wick or something, You know, it's not really anything you can do about it. Except, yeah, here you got me. If you get what I'm saying, like I know how to pick battles, but I think a lot of people use it too much. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying a lot of people use it too much to cover up cowardice.
Huh?
Well, who do you think? Who do you think is more likely to have that inability to not just deal with, you know, social situations out in the world and the shit that a man has to deal with on a daily basis, especially a black man? Who do you think is less capable of doing it? Someone raised by their old mama, or somebody raised by men, their father, their uncle, their grandfather? Who do you think? I mean, who do you think?
Men all day.
Yeah, somebody raised by men. I do think there's a balance between it, right? Because I do have a lot of well, not a lot, but I got 2 aunties, mom, a stepmom, a sister, a bunch of uncles, a bunch of stepbrothers, a bunch of cousins, mixed. You know what I mean? Like female and male. So it's like a balance of it, right? But the dudes know their place because they're raised around men. You know what I mean? The women know their place. They're raised around women.
Well, I think that what the main thing when it comes to us younger men and our older men is this: younger men don't realize, and this is the thing that have been taught by women. They don't realize the certain rules that are like, you know, men should already know. There's certain things you don't do to another man unless you want to end in conflict. You don't tell another man that you're better than him. You don't sit here and talk, like I said, usually don't talk about a man's family. Some people really get mad about that. And you never say you're better than them. Because those things right there invite a challenge, or never tell them you're going to kick their ass. Things like that. Those are like unwritten rules. And that's the problem. A lot of these men that are so young, they just jump immediately to those. And that's why you watch these young people get into fights so quick like their mama. Because they think that they can open their mouth and say whatever the fuck they want at any given time with no damn consequences.
And I think that's YouTube is kind of making it worse, right? Because I agree with you, Judge, right? To the point of like you don't do this, or you don't do this in front of grown men. As a man, we won't stand for it. You know what I mean? You don't do that. And if you stand for it, you're a punk, you're a bitch. You know what I mean? Somebody
calling you. It could be a homeless man on the street. But I mean, you call him a bitch or something, say nothing, nigga. I think he homeless and you roll up in a Bentley. But you told that mother, yeah, nigga, you ain't shit, you little homeless ass motherfucker. He gonna try to beat your ass. It doesn't matter.
Both of y'all gonna be in jail eating the same goddamn sandwich. One sell a car from each other. Like, who homeless now, nigga?
I think one of the things about it, like we got to call out on the monster, is I had to do a show about a man that his mother had taken $30,000 out of his bank that he was going to use to get a house. And naturally, I said, why did you confront her? Why didn't you call her out? Hell, why didn't you call the police? That's my mom. I can't do that. And what I understood was that this infinity that a lot of these mothers, these black mamas have over their boy, is that no matter how fucked up I fuck you or your siblings or you or your life up, you are indebted to me. You owe me, boy. And see, right there, that's a big problem we got in the community. Because a lot of boys fear to call out their mama. I can't call out my mama sleeping with a whole bunch of niggas. Even though me and my brothers and siblings and shit, well, we got different siblings and stuff. I watch my mom get her ass beat. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand, to a child, the child sees this stuff and they think that, okay, check, mama get beat. So in the daughter's eyes, well, that's what a man do to show his love. But mama keep taking her back. So that's cool. In the boy's eyes, he's like, fuck, I'm not strong enough to protect mama. So I got an affinity hate for black men because they treat my mama like shit. But then again, my mama keep going back to these same niggas. So if I become like that nigga and I get that type of respect, nobody gonna fuck with my mama. Because see, understand that this infinity type of mindset, even though your mama easily sells you out. Remember, like Tupac said, even though you was a crack, I love you, mama, even though you was a crack female. Tupac's mama kicked him out the house many times. But she didn't mind taking that goddamn money for selling no drugs. You understand the infinity, the craziness? And what goes on is that black boys will knowingly, undyingly keep on dying for mom. See, this is why, but see, if there was a father there in the home, you ain't gonna waste my boy's life. You ain't gonna put my boy in harm's way. But see, as long as I can keep that man sever his ties from that boy, I got him. Because he's one of my soldiers now. And some of y'all gonna say, no, that's not true, BMT. Well, I said, how the fuck do you explain all these black boys now? Because all these black boys, they'll kill. Hey, your mama ain't shit. Bye, nigga. Boop, 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 boop. But your mama wasn't shit. That was a true statement. Your mama, we know your mama is a hoe. That's a true statement. Everybody knows that at the school. We know
your mama. Something funny, BMT.
What's up, brother? If
I could erase one line from that, I love Tupac to death, but I wish I could erase that fucking line. I hate to say something. That's so. Even at the crack fiend, mama is always with black. That is so ingrained in some of these bitches' head. It ain't funny.
Once they heard that shit, oh yeah, baby.
Right. That was like. So it was like that was like the first public statement that the bitches couldn't do no wrong, and I think they just took that shit and ran with it. I think because when I think back of like a memorable statement that really had them uproar in the black community, it was that line right there.
Yeah, but what is that? What does that line indicate, man? That line
that means that they can't do shit wrong.
It doesn't indicate love, man. It indicates fucking worship, man.
Right.
Say that again, Pop. Say that again.
It does not indicate love, man. It indicates worship.
Why do
can you say it for one more time just in case you was bored?
When someone says something like that, okay, and you hear it, it does not indicate love. It does not indicate respect. It's an indication of worship.
We're gonna be chopping tonight.
Can you do that's a show at its own. Please do a worship show, please.
Let's talk about this because I'm telling you right now, only in this goddamn fucked up community under the rabbit hole do we call the black woman God. Only under this.
Queen.
No, queen. You just call the black woman as God. I'm like, hold the hell up.
Like this bitch ain't doing shit. All she did was do something that her body did.
No, no. But see, that's the thing about it is these young militantly fucked up minded kids are thought and told. This is why now you're seeing women say, I'd rather have my son be gay and effeminate. Like you got a whole. This is why they pray that I'd rather my son be all sugary tank. I'd rather him be like a bitch. And white men, they enjoy seeing this shit. Oh yeah.
Because when they see that, they think they can control them, and they know we're stronger than them, and they want us to be weak-minded.
See, the thing about it is, when you got to understand, you got men of power who, like, okay, I'm gonna use an example. You got Will Smith. All these women, they love Will Smith, but we all know Jada Smith runs that fucking house because you see their son walk around in a goddamn dress. Willow, we don't know what the fuck wrong with her. And goddamn, Jada go to other men's house and be their damn woman. And Will's like, oh yeah, that's my wife. Nigga, that's not your woman. That's your husband. Like, you gotta understand, like, this is how they indoctrinate you to make you think that, yo, this is normal. This is not normal behavior. This is some type of sadistic worship where the black woman can do no wrong. And see, you can't shame somebody who doesn't have shame. I want y'all to understand it. And this is why when I be looking at y'all on Facebook and y'all say y'all going to shame, you can't shame these bitches on Love and Hip Hop. You can't shame these bitches on Housewives of Atlanta. You can't shame these bitches on any kind of social media. They like seeing these bitches fucked up, and see, to the black boy, this is normal. So when a black man says, I'm not playing the fucking game and I'm not going to worship this satanic evil bitch, I'm out. I'm out. Because they understand the respect for the black man has long been gone. This is why you see black women when they go for positions of law, judicial seats, and all this shit. They doing it because they said, listen, I've already fucked up the community as far as I can go. And I dare y'all to refute and debate me on that. But understand this, the white man did not give the black man the keys to the black community. No, he gave it to that black woman. Why? Because he understood that, listen, you are the gatekeepers to white supremacy for me. Debate me if I'm wrong, but we can go watch Gone as the Wind. Debate me if I'm wrong, but we ain't gonna pretend like the mammies were not in the white man's ear at nighttime. Where you think all these goddamn mulatto babies were popping up from? Hello. So understand this affinity for the white man and goddamn the black woman. And she said, listen, let me run the community and I'll run that black man out. Because they understood that once you take the black man out of the home has no power. It don't got no power. What honestly can the black woman do to that man? Nothing. I love it when they say that the black man had the black woman oppressed, but I'm like, what power did we have at the time? What can we all do? We're fighting just to get food, allowed the same equal amount of food in our house to feed our family. But see, that's called oppressive power. I'm fighting to say, yo, you're going to respect me. If that white man don't respect me, damn it, you're going to at least respect me. But see, that's not wrong, but I'm still the man. But see, men nowadays understand that, well, why do I need to get respect? Because honestly, if you think about it, Judge, you've been saying that, Prophet been saying that, CRU been saying that, you know, I damn sure been saying that. And women don't understand that. They're not going to understand it. Why? But they understand that, listen, in the age of that, where are all the black men? Keyword, where are all the black men? Gone, bitch. Y'all erased them. You extinct them. You destroyed them. You can bring up all the crackheads, the dope addicts, and all the other brothers like that. Yeah, you can bring that up. Yeah, I got you with that. We can hit that up for another day. But we're not going to pretend like you did not have to take that motherfucking Judas check. There's a difference. You didn't have to take the check.
Well, not even the fact of that, but the fact is this. They're gone, as you say. They're gone, and the ones that are left ain't dealing with your ass. That's just what it is. They don't want to sit up here and say, the reason why motherfuckers leave is plain and simple. I sit here and I say this all the time. Women don't understand. It's easy to keep a nigga around. Feed them, fuck them, keep a clean house, raise the fucking kids. Give them some respect. You don't even have to give them full. The nigga gonna stay. You don't realize something. Pussy only got so much value. Eventually, if you ain't a nice person outside of the bedroom, the nigga gonna kick you to the curb, period. I know plenty of men, and I didn't even stay with women who couldn't fuck worth shit, but they could do everything else right.
Hey, Judge, no, it don't take much. All a man want is something like, okay, it's mine. She ain't even got to be the damn baddest for most dudes. You know what I mean? And I'm talking most dudes. Me, I like fine women. My women are fine. They might be fucked up in the head, but they're fine as hell.
But see, why is that? But see, I answer that question. You said something that was very pinnacle. You said, these women are fine. I love my women fine, but shit, I know they're fucked up in the head. How many black men have we know, damn, I ain't gonna lie, my bitch is bad, but shit, boy, I can't trust her in that damn kitchen with a knife, man. Like, that bitch won't throw that knife at me sooner or later.
But think about it, though. Think about it. These women, many of them, raised by the same women who raised these mama's boys. So what do you have? You have women creating duplicates of themselves, and you have them creating the mama boy simps that are out in the world today. So when you have these mama boy simps out in the world meeting women who are exact duplicates of their old jackass mama, what do you have? You're going to have women who can dominate some of these men. You have women who can make these men subservient to them, not submissive, but subservient to them. And a lot of men fall for this. Why? Because they're already a mama's boy, because they were the same way with their old mama. Mama could do no wrong. Mama couldn't say anything wrong. Whatever bullshit mama did, you're supposed to accept it, tolerate it, don't critique it, don't criticize it, don't complain about it, don't speak on it. So as you grow up as a man, especially if you're a man without any male influence. I mean, like I said, forget not having a father, no uncle, no grandfather, no male cousin, no nothing. When you go out in the world as this mama boy, when you meet one of these old crazy hoes, she don't strike you as odd. She don't strike you as foreign. It's the same shit you grew up with.
That's the norm.
Yeah, it's
So
the
you
normal shit.
And you realize, oh, what's so bad is you get into the fact is your mama, because when you get old enough, you know, like the love turns to hate. And that's one thing I try to tell these boys, especially when they raised by single parents, and then I'll come in and try to mentor. I say, you don't understand something. Eventually, there's going to come a day. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but eventually it's going to be turned a day where that love and all that crap that mama coddling you, she's going to throw your ass right out there on the street. Now, some people, it might happen as early as 15, 16. Some motherfuckers may not get thrown out till they're 30. But, you know, eventually it's going to come that day. And this is the problem is, you know, I would tell these women all the time, what, you think that the motherfucker just, you keep babying his ass, do you think the motherfucker just turned 18 and be like, oh, I'm a man? Don't work that way.
The reason why, let me tell you, you see, as a boy start getting older, see, this is where the man or man will comes into play. When a boy starts getting older, his estrogen and his doggone masculinity starts kicking in overdrive. And you see, this is why when if he's around the right type of male type of role model, like CRU might be a teacher or a mentor or a judge, and they catch that, hey, have your boy come over my house. I'm gonna take him out for boxing, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna work with him. In other words, what you're doing is you're showing him how to level out his emotions. But you gotta understand, during puberty is what? The time for when the boy, his emotions are starting to shift. Now, what happens is, this is when a lot of young men are doing what? They're looking for some type of guidance or role model to head to. This is when usually they end up joining what? Gangs, running with different people, different crowds or factions. And usually if there is a father like X, and he's like, what did Joe Jackson have to do to his boys? When you get out of school, be your ass at this house, you're gonna move bricks from one side of the yard to the next side of the yard. Why we gotta do that? I ain't asked you, boy. You're just gonna do it. See, the thing about it is, you gotta understand that you gotta catch the boy. But see, the mother understand that, listen, if I can contort that, listen, you mama's prince, you mama's king. Y'all hear this dumb shit. And you see, what happens is, mama, if you're her king, but you can't properly protect or do what a king is supposed to do, see, this is what they tell him. But then you watch another dude, the jester, come in and plow mama, and then you can see the goddamn town bartender come in and plow mama. You watch different dudes come in like, damn, mama, I thought you loved me. Child, mind your damn business. Go upstairs. Because now you're contorted, but you're like, whoa, wait, I don't get it. Mama loves me. I thought she said I'm her king. This is why I be telling a lot of women, quit calling your son your king and your prince and shit. You're fucking them up. Y'all really need to stop that dumb shit. That's your son. Find a role model that your son can properly get behind and say, okay, what do I need to do, Mr. Johnson? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to teach you how to cut some grass. I'm going to teach you some values and some moral ethic codes to go by in life. It may not be much, but it's going to put you on the right path. This is why a lot of black men, they have an affinity, appreciation, even if they, no matter how much money, like Judge said, they have, when they have that one old dude who drinks beer at the damn corner store, but he teach that boy a life lesson, that boy is going to respect that man for eternity. Because it's a thought process that the man took time to teach you something. But see, that woman, she can't do that. She can't make that same edge cut of teaching and knowledge that a man will give a boy. And I know a lot of women are like, that's not true. I can do this. See, that's the problem. You think you can do what a man can do, but there's some things you just can't touch, baby. There's some grounds, there's some lessons. When I got slapped on the ground by my father, it clicked. Because understand this, a woman's role is that to be the softener. She's that of the cushion. The man is that to be the hardener, to shape the boy. And see, the thing about a lot of these boys have not been properly shaped and formatted. So what happens is when you see them in society today, They easily struck. I say you a bitch. Oh shit! I feel like I have to kill you.
Right, and that's the reason why we had the problems nowadays. I wouldn't even, I hate to say I wouldn't tell one of these young boys, 18, 19-year-old shit, but keep going.
No, but see, that's the thing. That's the problem why a lot of these women say it's not our fault why the community is fucked up. Okay, y'all want to run that? So we'll play the book. So if it's not your fault, if you only know you couldn't keep one man in the household, why don't you get on birth control and stop fucking? If you only know you couldn't keep the second man in the house. Now, mind you, you're seeing older women trying to keep up with the younger bras now. Why? Why? But see, an older man who has his shit together, do you see him trying to keep up with the younger boys? No. I ain't never seen my dad try to run to the club and be out there shaking it with young dudes trying to compete. That man at doggone El Friday, he's in his backyard, cracking open beer, smoking cigarette, watching the game. He ain't trying to go out there. I'm seeing goddamn women who are in their damn 40s wearing coochie cutters, trying to run with their daughters, trying to pick up young boys. But see, why do they always get the young boy? And the young boy, he sees that, he don't see that as his girl. He sees that as his what? His mama. Think about that. Come on now, we ain't gonna pretend like we don't know this. A lot of these boys who get with these older cougars and milfs, how does that woman treat that boy? Not like a man. Treat him like the son. I feed him. I give him a place to stay. I let him play video games with the kids. He eat damn snack packs and shit. That's her son. That's all she did. She just got a man who can pay bills. But that's her boy. That she fucking / son.
Well, you know, in the black society, many of us, and I know people be like, oh, not all, Lex. Shut up. We know it's not all. Just shut up. We know that. In a lot of black society, in a lot of black society, in certain areas of black society, there are many occasions of this Oedipus complex. Okay, y'all know who Oedipus is, right? Oedipus was in love with his mother, right? So a lot of us, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of emotional, mental incest going on inside of black society. And I know it makes black people feel uncomfortable when you say this kind of shit.
Talk about an ex.
But it's real. Many young boys have been raised up in this crooked, backwards ass, Oedipus-like thing. So they are in love, if not directly in love with their old black ass mama, they're in love with the ideal of their mama. They are in love with the very essence of their mama. Therefore, like I said earlier, when they go out into the world, they automatically gravitate to these women who are just like their mama. Now, if their mama's a decent broad, that's different. That's different. But if their mom is some old drunk, crack smoking, 5'10" baby daddy, can't take care of her kids kind of bitch, these brothers go after the same thing. I'm gonna give you an example. We always talk about baby mamas and baby daddies, right? Right? Now, have you ever noticed that it's always a 3-for-3 situation, a 4-for-4 situation, a 5-for-5 situation? I'll explain to y'all what I mean. Usually, when a woman is on her third baby daddy, usually she's his baby mama number 3. So it's 3-for-3. Same with the 4-for-4 and the 5-for-5. Usually, when one of these women are on baby daddy number 3, she's baby mama number 3. So what you have is you have a situation where you have these mama boys who have no sexual discipline because their old mama didn't. That's why she had 8 of you. They have no mental discipline. That's why she never tried to stop having you and do something with her life to take care of the 1 or 2 she had in the beginning. They have no physical discipline. That's why anything said to them that ruffles their feathers, they're ready to fight, stab, shoot, and kill. And guess what? These boys are the same way. I guarantee you, most of those boys who have 5 and 10 baby mamas, I guarantee you, they came from a baby mama. You know why? Because they weren't taught male sexual discipline. They weren't taught that. They weren't taught any dick discipline. No type of sexual discipline on your activity. You a goddamn mama's boy. You worship mama. You watch mama drag men in and out the house. You watch mama be pregnant with another brother or sister of yours every other damn year. So what did you learn? You learned that this is how it goes. This is how it goes. You run around and you just screw holes and don't wear rubbers and ejaculate on all of them. Because, see, mama didn't have no sexual discipline. So there was no way she was going to teach you any. If she had sexual discipline, guess what? She wouldn't have 7 baby daddies. That's not sexual discipline, man. And I don't give a shit who says it is. It's not. You got 5, 6, 7 baby daddies. You ain't, not only do you not have any sexual discipline, you ain't got no fucking mental discipline. And there you have it. These mama boys are so like their mama. It just so happened they are swinging dick, but they just like their mama too. They just like their mama, just like the daughters are. It just so happened that they a man. They think like they mama. They talk like they mama. They act like they mama. They feel like they mama. Because, see, mama was all they had. That's why I can't get too mad at these mama boys. Because, see, these mama boys, all they had was mama. So, of course, they act just like her black ass. Especially if they're still around her. You ever notice that the brothers who still living in mama's basement, eating mama's food, burning mama's lights, using mama's car, notice those brothers be having 5 and 10 baby mamas. Now explain that. How this mama boy, who 35, still living in mom's attic whilst he plays Call of Duty all day, how the hell he got 10 baby mamas? I want to tell you why. It ain't just the lack of sexual discipline. It's these fucking women out there who are just like his mama, who don't have a problem with the fact that he lacks sexual discipline. They don't have a problem with the fact that he still lived with mama. They don't have a problem with the fact that he's broke. No car, no job, no direction, no future. You know why? But they just like his old mama. Because that's who his mama fucked. Men with no drive, no ability, no interest, no future. So he thinks just like her. And I'll say again, for the 4th time tonight, he gravitates to women who are just like her. And he's definitely going to do it if he continues to be around mama. Because, see, you still being influenced by mama as long as you stay in the mama house. Even if your ass is 35, you're still being influenced by mama. You're still listening to mama's bullshit conversation. You still conforming yourself to mama's bullshit pathology. You still listening to mama tell you how your daddy ain't shit, even though you 35. You're internalizing that stuff. That's why I say the worst thing for a mama boy to do is continue to live with mama. Because guess what? Even though your ass 35, she gonna treat your ass like you 15. How can she not? You still living in her attic. She's still buying your damn food. She's still paying the bills. You still on her internet. How can she not look at you like a child? But it's so corrupted though, because see, she looks at you like this child, but at the same time, she looks at you like a quasi-pseudo husband at the same time, while she treats you like a child. You understand? She's treating you like a child, but she still looks at you like this quasi-pseudo husband. That's why she still allows you to live there, even though your black ass is 35. Because see, like I said earlier, she likes the fact that you're a mama's boy. Because see, if you weren't a mama's boy, you'd be the fuck out of her house. Because your black ass is 40.
Hey man, you're wrong, man. We're gonna have to call the APL on you because you know it's a lot of hit dogs out there, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is, man. You know, like I said, I can't blame the mama's boys for being mama's boys, okay? Especially if they're young, okay? If they're young, I mean, they were raised by a bunch of women, and of course, they have that, you know, they have kind of that female psychology. How can they not? Okay, you take a dog and you raise him with cats, man. Guess what? He gonna kind of act like a cat, and vice versa. You take a cat, man, you raise him with a bunch of dogs, he gonna act like a dog. So, I mean, you take a young male child and you put him in the midst of a bunch of hoes and harlots and heifers and hood bitches, he gonna have that same mentality. Shit, he might even think he's one of them until he realized what his dick is for. I mean, that's kind of what it is. So it's hard to blame the mama's boys when they're young. But once your ass get to be like a grown man, you can break away from that shit. I think what it is with a lot of these mama boys who are adults, you know, in their mid, late 20s, early 30s, and they're still mama boys, I think a lot of them just don't want to break away. Because see, your mother is like religion, okay? Your mother is like religion. So you kind of, whenever you go against her, you feel like you done backslid, you know? You backslide when you go against old mama, unless you're strong. And that's how a lot of brothers treat it. Because, see, they worship. I'll say again, they worship mama. They don't just love and respect mama. They worship mama. You're always going to worship someone who is overly concerned with what you think of them. See, the difference between your father, the male parent, your mother, the female parent, is, see, the way your father parents you, he don't give a shit about what you think about him. He doesn't care. Your father don't care what you think about him. Telling your black ass the truth is more important than what you think about him. But see, mom is different, okay? Mom will lie to you, lie in front of you, lie about you, and try to get you to lie too, just so you can think a certain way about her, just so you can act act a certain way toward her, just so you can have this adoration for her, no matter how fucked up she is. Because the first thing that'll come out of her mouth when you try to challenge her is, boy, I'm your mama. No matter how wrong the shit is, when she says she's your mama, that's supposed to negate all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So if you grow up in that as a youngster, you grow up in that in your pubescent years, you grow up in that as a teenager, by the time your ass 20, when you get out in the world, shit, women can tell you anything. Because, see, mama's always right, even when she's dead ass wrong. Let me say that again. Mama is always right, even when she's dead ass wrong. And that is what's behind these brothers who make it their business to co-sign the bullshit that women do. Because, see, they look at these women and they say, hey, look, even though this woman is dead ass wrong, she's right. Why? Because she's a black woman. She's a black mother. Okay? And see, that's where that whole collective hive mind shit comes into play. Okay? If you a black mama, you represent all black mamas. Even if you're a black mama who smokes meth. Even if you're a black mama who got 7 baby daddies. Even if you're a black mama who beat the shit out of your kids, kill your kids, choke your kids, let your kids get raped by your bullshit boyfriends. Even though you do all of that, none of that matters. Because, see, you're right, even if you're dead ass wrong.
Let me say it like this. For a lot of young boys, I remember, let me just use me. I'll use me. I'll be the sacrificial lamb. My wife, one time, whenever we would be in the room, she used to get dressed, and the boys would walk in the room. And after that, I stopped playing my PlayStation. I said, woman, what are you doing? Oh, I'm getting dressed. I said, where's the boys at? Oh, they're right here. Take your ass back in the bathroom. She made a fuss about it. I said, shut up. Go in the bathroom. I said, sons, when your mother comes in here, y'all need to start. I had to set the barrier tone, if y'all understand what I'm saying, that your mother, y'all can't be around your mother in certain places in the house. And my sons said, why, Daddy? I said, because you'll understand that you get older. But I had to talk to my wife and said, listen, I know you came out of a single mother household where women naturally walk around naked. And you don't understand what that does to a young boy. I know some women, y'all don't catch that. That's what X was trying to point to y'all. When y'all be walking around naked or doing sexual deviancy stuff, or I ain't gonna lie, man, that one mother who be coming to the school, Lord have mercy, she was like something out of a goddamn Freak League video. And her son be right there and they have other boys, ooh, damn, like she enjoys that. She absorbs that.
Well, not even the fact of that. You ever see, like, all you gotta do is go online, just look up like kids graduating from kindergartens, and you see the bitches coming up there and they posing with the kids, and you got on fucking lace up damn high heels and shit. Bitch, I thought the kid was graduating, not your fucking ass looking like a damn hoe. And you see a lot of times the kids even look like they fucking embarrassed.
Judge, literally this one boy graduated out of 2nd grade. His mama and her friends wearing booty, like the skirts that shop just below your booty, doing eagle spreads, holding his doggone thing. I was like, God damn, how far are we falling, people? But see, what Prophet said was something true. Because when a lot of young boys see this, they grow their affinity for their mama. And what happens is, see, y'all not only don't know, you've been indoctrinated. Where now you're saying, well, shit, I love mama. And I want to find somebody who's just like her. Now, naturally, mama never going to tell you how fucked up she is. Why would she never do that? Because if mama, see, the reason why a lot of black mothers don't ever talk about how fucked up other black mothers are or how fucked up the black mother matriarchy is, because that would mean they would have to call out their shit. See what I'm saying? So when you get with a woman who just fucked up, see, the mother feels like, oh shit, I'm gonna lose that power and grip over him. But he's gonna get with a bitch. This is why a lot of boys, when they get in trouble, who do they call? Mama. Yeah, I know y'all seen that, you know, because they don't know what to do. Mama, what do I do? Like, this girl ain't listening to me. Well, you need to leave that bitch and come back home. Really? Now, naturally, if Prophet was my dad or my uncle, he gonna listen, man. You need to go sit down with your woman, talk to her, figure out what the fuck is going on, and y'all need to work out some type of budget. See, that's what a man would tell his son. Figure out, is she cheating on you? No. Y'all having a disagreement? Then you need to figure it out. See, that's how men used to do it. They would go behind closed door with their woman and have that discussion. Shit gets squashed, they move on from there. But see, the bomber backup plan is whenever you don't like that bitch, you come back to me. Because I'll be your saving grace. And you see, that's why a lot of boys will never leave their mama's house, sleep on the couch, and they still win in their life. Now, what goes on is a lot of boys are used to that dysfunctional type of woman. I'm not gonna lie, I love me some crazy pussy. Crazy pussy is the best pussy in my mind. But I understood that the reason why I love crazy pussy because I was mentally already broken by my mama at one point. So me being with somebody who's just as fucked up as me, it didn't seem as bad because, you know what? Mama said Jesus will forgive all. And so long as me and her together and, you know, even though she got 2 or 3 kids and, you know what I'm saying, we always getting into fights and the police coming by. I mean, listen, the police must have kicked in our door like 3 times. After a while, we couldn't really even shut the door. We had to take gray Scotch tape and use it on the edges to close the door. That's how, and you know, what was bad about I thought that was normal. I literally thought that was normal. That's how I thought we could close our door. Take gray Scotch tape and put on it. That's how many times the door been kicked in. We had knife stabbings on the wall, damn furniture all torn up, repo man always coming by, so we got to hide the car behind the at Kmart and shit. I thought I was winning. I thought I was a king.
He said hide the car at Kmart.
Shit, I had to make that motherfucker guess. But see, that, to me, I thought I was winning. Why? Because that's how some of my aunties and my mama and they were doing at the time. So I'm like, shit, this is black culture. This is what we do. So I didn't think so. I thought this was normal. And then my daddy was like, what the fuck you doing, son? Why you here? Oh, you know, I'm here with my queen. That ain't no damn queen. That's some ratchet hoe. You supposed to just fuck her and leave. I said, Dad, I'm talking about my woman. Like, that's not your woman. That woman was just at damn Dairy Queen hollering that dog on my homeboy. What? Oh, I'm gonna get him. No, you ain't. But that's never been your bitch. She's a street bitch. Just like your crazy ass auntie and all of them. And you see, a lot of boys, we don't want to hear because you got to think, why did I think that was a normal girl for me? Because your mama was that. And you don't want to admit to say your mama was that crazy bitch, basic model that you thought that, yo, every female should be just like mama. And if every female is just like mama, then I'm winning in life.
And I'll say this, too, to add on that. Even if your mama wasn't like that and she was actually decent, you were still surrounded by so many people like that it still seemed normal. So you could have a decent mom, but if you got all your sisters, aunties, cousins, and nephews, brothers, sisters, girlfriends acting the same way, then what do you think? Well, 90% of them act like that, so it's still normal. Because more women act like the ratchet shit than they're normal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't want people to think that, you know, I don't want you to love your mom or respect your mom or anything like that, because I love my mom. You know, my mom was mean as hell, you know, but I was primarily raised by my old man, you know, so that's why I guess I'm able to do the things that I do. I mean, because I look back at how my mom's was, you know, if she was raising us by herself, man, we'd have been fucked. We'd have been fucked. But, you know, we had our old man. You know, and I was raised by a hardworking man. You know, he meant what he said. He said what the hell okay. He was the king of that goddamn castle. And what he said went. His word was law. That's how I grew up. I mean, I grew up with brothers. I have like 5 older brothers, and I'm the youngest of them. And there's 8 years between me and the next one of my older brothers. So When I was a little child, when I was 7 and 8 years old, I had older brothers that were 16 and 17 and 18, 20, you know, so I was always around big grown ass men. So I learned a lot of man shit at a very young age. And that being the case, my mom wasn't able to effeminize me. She wasn't able to have me thinking, you know, like some of these brothers think today, because see, she didn't have total influence over my psyche, you know. I mean, my father balanced that shit out with how he was. I tell people all the time, shit, my old man was like a fucking silverback gorilla, you know, so he didn't fuck around. So, I mean, it wasn't, I didn't grow up in that environment where I was influenced by my mom, my sisters, my aunts, my grandma, my girl cousins, and all that kind of nonsense. I didn't have that. I grew up around men. I grew up around grown ass men. So a lot of the shit that I did going forward, you know, growing as a young man, I took that male pathology with me. A lot of young boys today don't have, a lot of young men today, they do not have that. Okay, I've been hammering that point all night. They don't have that male influence. They don't even have an uncle. They don't even have a grandfather. They don't even have the freaking guy sitting on the corner, the OGs, to kind of drop some male wisdom on them. So their whole life, their whole ideology, their whole point of view, their whole way of thinking is based on female terminology, because that's all they know. Females have been grooming them, raising them, guiding them. Even when they go to school, their teachers are females. So the only time they have the only opportunity they really have to interact with other males is probably in school or when they out playing outside on the block. Any other time, it's all women, it's all girls, it's all female, it's all women, everything. So of course they're freaking mama's boys, because who is that number one woman? Who's that number one that they follow? Mama. Why? Because mama is the one who demands worship. And she's able to do it because, see, there's no man there. Okay? You don't worship your mama when you have a father. Okay? His very presence and influence negates that. You understand? Even if she tries it, your father nips that shit in the bud. Because, see, men, like I said, are more realistic, especially when it comes to teaching their sons. Women don't necessarily know what to teach their sons. They don't. They don't really know what to teach their sons, especially when you're talking about man stuff, because a woman can only teach a man things by what she's experienced from the men she was fucking, especially if she didn't have a father. Those are the worst women, the women who didn't have a father. If your mama is the product of a baby mama, you are going to have problems, especially if she's a baby mama. Now, let me say that again. If your mama is the product of a baby mama and she's a baby mama now, and you don't have any access to your father or your uncle or your grandfather, you're screwed until you get the hell away from your black ass mama. But we done been joined by my man, brother Art, my bro. What's good? Is he there? We have been, I think that was brother LaShan who had jumped in too. I don't know what the hell happened. He dropped off. Brother Art, you there? All right. Brother Brother Supreme done jumps up, Brother Supreme.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's good, man? Just going in on these old mama's boys. And I'll say again, I'm not mad at them now because they mama's boys, because they probably mama's boys because they products of baby mamas. Okay, that's probably why they're that way. But there is still hope for you, young man. There's still hope for you, young man. There is, but you have to want to break free of it. Because as long as you want to be a mama's boy, mama ain't gonna have no problem with you being a mama's boy. She's not. She's not.
Yeah,
Especially if mama don't got no man. She ain't gonna mind. Y'all want to jump in? Go ahead.
yeah, I would say that. I mean, I think a lot of that also has to do with the lack of male spaces. A lot of the mama's boys, as is stated, they really don't have a lot of places to go to feed on male energy or to understand how to balance all of those things out. One thing that I think that you probably stated, I haven't heard the entire show yet, but I'm pretty sure it's been stated that a identifier of a lot of mama's boys would be a lot of emotionality that's untethered. Am I wrong?
Nope.
And so a lot of times you'll see these young men and older men that a lot of people will say, oh, you know, you're acting like a woman or whatnot. A lot of hooping and hollering, acting out and so forth. And unfortunately, those individuals, they haven't learned how to conduct themselves because, you know, when you're in male spaces and you're acting like that, you know, somebody's going to approach you. But I think it's one of those things of in the, what I say, the Black society, because I don't think the community exists. There's a lack of male spaces, and you have a lot of young boys that don't know how to, again, balance that stuff out and mature to a point to where they don't have to react emotionally to everything.
I agree. I definitely agree with that because, you know, we unfortunately, man, we live in a time here in Black society that it's not really stressed how important a man is when you're talking about, you know, family building. I mean, we talk about it on we talk about it on media all the time, but I mean, it's not really stressed. And I know quite a few brothers. There's quite a few brothers on this panel right now who they have custody of their children, they have custody of their sons and daughters. And often what happens is these things are not, they're not stressed. They're not talked about enough. They're not discussed enough. It's almost as if a man is optional. You know, it's optional for a man to have influence over children, over women, over his family. It's optional for a man to run a household.
Could I throw something in real quick?
It's all optional. Go ahead, Brother Supreme.
You know, I heard a few things about the father piece at the very beginning before I had to do some other work. But then when I came back, just wanted to chime in on that. You know, I heard a lot about fathers being these disciplinarians, these individuals that show their sons how to respect authority and so forth. And I get that. But I think one thing that is really not talked about is how fathers can show their sons how to move in life to where you have more options than just reacting with your fist or reacting wildly to certain situations. Put yourself in position to where you have a variety of options, and you can use your mind in order to navigate through situations rather than having to resort to physicality. I think a lot of fathers a lot of young boys don't understand that a good father will show them how to do that.
Yeah, I mean, your pops, I mean, not to sound like, not to give y'all any anecdotal type shit, but I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, my pops didn't die till I was like 37. So, I mean, my father was in my life, from the time I was a child all the way up through manhood. I could talk to him about shit. He taught me a lot of shit. I was raised primarily by my old man. So, I mean, he was always telling me, son, you got to use your head sometimes before you use your hands. And
Yeah.
on the other hand, he would tell me, hey man, don't never let nobody punk you. Don't, I mean, he would give me all of that. He gives you all, your old man gives you all of that. I think that when women raise children, they have a tendency to just give their children a piece of it.
Yeah,
with a man, he gives you all of it, man, and he kind of better prepares you. I mean, the statistics show it, man. Like I said before, I mean, we can argue, the points and say, oh, I know somebody, who had a father and they still ended up in jail, dead, on crack, or whatever the case may be. But statistics show that when a man is in a child's life, the child just has a better chance. I mean, he just does. I mean, there's exception to all rules, but chances are when a child has a man in his life, he's probably going to make better decisions as opposed to if he didn't have a man in his life.
That's pretty much irrefutable, X. I mean, that's why it's just so important for a man to have all of his kids under one roof.
Yes,
I mean, because
I agree.
Because they need to see that. They need to see that his lifestyle in action. I mean, like for you, X, and I know for myself, same thing. My father's still alive. There's a lot of lessons that you see.
I agree.
That have nothing to do with him talking to you at all. Some of those lessons, getting up, going to work every day, making sacrifices for the family that a lot of people take for granted, stuff that you don't really ever talk about. Doing things. I remember so many times my father having opportunities to go hang out with his friends, but I had a game. I had a competition to go to or something like that. And him after work saying, nah, I'm not hanging out with my boys this weekend. I'm going to spend time with my son. That's priceless stuff.
Sacrifice, man. All that stuff is sacrifice. Well, we done been joined by the guest of honor and my man, Why You Mad in the house too, my man.
What's going on?
What's good, man? What's good, brother Taz, man? We've been waiting on you, man. Is he there?
Can y'all hear me too?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll lay low, but I'll just make. I couldn't. My voice, my sound wasn't working, but I'll lay low because he got brother Taz here.
Is brother Taz here?
Yeah, I hear you, Art.
He might be doing something else. Well, if you want to chime in, brother Art, go right ahead.
You got to take the muzzle off. They joke with him and call him Taz Attack Dog. Come on, Taz. Come on in here.
Let me just speak on that because I spoke on that in the beginning. Okay. I hear a lot of people. You fading in and out, brother Taz.
Sound like somebody Borging.
Yeah, you fading in and out, brother.
That wasn't Taz.
It wasn't?
No.
Somebody's dragging something.
Oh. Well, I spoke on this earlier because a lot of people talk shit about this brother, right? And, I like this brother. He reminds me of my older brother. He even kind of looked like him a little bit. So I guess I'm a little biased and shit. But I actually like this brother. He's not a conformist. I mean, do I agree with everything he says? Absolutely not. But that I can say that about everybody on YouTube. All right. So he's always welcome here, regardless of what motherfuckers say about him. Okay, and I would never let nobody talk shit about him without him being on here to address or confront whatever motherfuckers got to say about him. You understand?
Yeah, I can say that in the beginning when I first met him, I didn't like him at all. But we sat and had a couple of talks, and I see that he's a really stand up dude. If he has something that he believes in, he stands up for it. And that's right. a lot of things that men don't have nowadays. If he believes a certain way, he's not easily swayed. So he's not a follower. No. And that's why I said, if I may not agree with you all the time, but I give you respect because you hold your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he stands on it. He does stand on his square. And I remember when he first came out, and a lot of people were talking shit about him. Oh man, this dude Taz. When they were talking shit about him, I had been on panels with the brother, before anybody else kind of really knew who he was. And I never had a problem with him. We got along just fine. So I didn't know what the fuck people were talking about because I had been on panels with him with George Macon, I think on George Macon's channel. And then I was on there on a panel with him on my Man Q Butter channel. We got along just fine. So when I started hearing people talking all this shit about him, I was like, damn, I mean, what fucking dude they talking about? This dude ain't. But that's the YouTube Negro shit. So
I think too, what happens is he cusses a lot, and some people might get emotional on that. He comes at you hard with the heat. I mean, you can't be thin skinned having a conversation with that.
Well, we're grown men. We all curse. We all curse, man.
No, but I mean, like he throws kind of personal every once in a while. He comes like kind of personal sometimes, and if you just don't realize that's just how the man talk. Yeah, and I think sometimes people be too sensitive on that.
Yeah, if you're too damn sensitive, get off the fucking panel with the dude and go somewhere where they don't talk like that. Taz, you
y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you now. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
X, man, I was knocked out, bro. I'm on my way to work and shit, man. I caught that last little moment before I went to work, man. Just dozed the fuck off. My bad, bro.
All right. Well, yeah, well, let's do something next week because you about to head to your job now, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, shit, I'm good though. I could talk. I mean, I'm good. I ain't under no constraints to talk. I just fell asleep.
Okay. Well, we were talking about mama's boys, and their effect on not just themselves but on Black society. But I'm not blaming them now. I'm not blaming them for being mama's boys because a lot of them were raised by nothing but women. So it's not really their fault that they're mama's boys. It's not their fault. But I think them being mama's boys is a detriment to them, not so much the rest of us. Well, maybe in a way, because I think there's a lot of these mama boys who's out here shooting folks in the head and killing them for Jordans and shit. Okay, I think a lot of these dudes is mama boys too, but that's for another night. So you want to chime in on it, feel free, brother.
No, I agree with that, though. I actually agree with the latter part more. Like, the mama's boys niggas is the ones that they have no understanding of conflict resolution or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's kind of like I was questioning some of the niggas here on Black YouTube and this sphere right here, like, where I'm dealing with some of these people. They quick to ask me, well, where was your dad? Okay, nigga, my dad was always there. Wasn't a time when I didn't know my dad. But, like, my dad showed me things like fishing, putting up drywall, scrapping metal, shit like that all the time when I was young and growing up. And so it's like some of the shit I hear from the dudes on here that they claim is like masculine and shit that they would have learned from their father. My father taught me that was some bitch shit. You know what I'm saying? All this backbiting, feminine ass running around crying about niggas. That's where I'm from, the way I was raised, the way I was taught, even by my mom. You don't cry about shit somebody else doing. You have no control over that. You can't make nobody do shit that they don't want to do. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I think we be on some bullshit sometimes in this Black YouTube shit.
Absolutely. Well, I want to swing around to my man. Why you mad? What's good, brother?
What's going on, brother X? What's going on to the panel?
What you got to say about this shit, man?
I'm gonna just be upfront, because when I was growing up, you know, like what Taz was saying, also, you know, I was raised, I had my father in my life, and you know, he taught me certain things, especially, you know, fishing, working on cars, certain shit like that. But I lost my father. He died when I was in my 20s. So, but I had older brothers too, you know. So I mean, they kept that shit going. But once I got in my 20s, I joined the military. But when I was coming up, most the neighborhood we was in, it was middle class, but most of my friends, that's all they had was mothers. And I thought that, honestly, I thought that was normal. You know, when the mothers would, you know, I seen how they would, you know, be talking to them and saying their fathers wasn't shit. And I actually thought that was normal, because nobody never told me, like, hey, you know, single mothers are bad, or you know, this is bad, or that is bad. You know, I didn't kind of figure that out till I got much older. But some of them boys, you know, that's, man, some that's still alive. Don't get me wrong. Some have you know, lost their lives, and don't get it twisted. I said it too. You know, I had a father and a mother. I still was out there in the streets. So, but you still got some productive, my friends, who only had a mother, and you know, they was able to, you know, to make something of themselves. So, but I do agree, you know, you still got these other brothers, you know, that's, you know, basically depend on their mothers a lot, you know, and they're in bad situations. But you know, as I agree, as you get older, you got to make that decision, because you don't want to look in yourself in the mirror every day. So I agree with you've been saying, brother X, and the rest of the panel. But you know, I look at it, you know, hey, you know, you still, you're in your 30s, you don't have a job, you're not doing anything with your life, you're still staying with your mother, you know. You gotta look yourself in the mirror. You know, it's no excuses for that. You know, I was able to change my life around, and I know others could do the same. So, but yeah, they, you know, women, you know, black women do coddle, you know, tend to coddle their boys. But you know, once you become a man, you got to make that decision. So.
Yeah, because you can't be 36 years old, no job, no money, living in mom's basement playing Call of Duty all day. I don't give a shit what them. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
I agree. You know, I don't care if you a mother, if your moms allow that shit. It should be you that, you know, saying no, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I mean, just because your mom is allowing you to be a mama's boy, it's not fucking all right for you to coalesce with the shit. And you like 37 years old. I mean, come on, man.
I mean,
I will play Call of Duty.
That's fine. You do that shit when you get off work. You do it when you get off work. Shit,
that'd be too damn tired. Anybody that know that work, you'd be too damn tired for that. Think about it. Taz's ass didn't even show up for the thing. Cause why? Nigga worked probably so damn much he had to get a nap so he could go to work and make the damn money.
Well, shit, I don't. I mean, when my boys be coming over here on Friday, they want to play the game. Trust me, I don't want to. I'll be like, hey, but they're like, come on, you got to play Fortnite. I'm like, fuck it.
You know what? I cannot stand that damn game either, man. I hate to say that's the worst game in the world.
But I'm just saying.
I got a question, X.
Go ahead, brother.
With the mama's boys type of stuff, and for all the individuals on the panel that have fathers, did you all ever remember your father going out and going to bat for random black women that was in arguments or going through junk? Do you ever remember your father doing anything like that?
Hell no.
On top of that, I don't even remember women arguing like that when I was little.
True.
Okay.
Very few and far between. But
so don't you find it odd that a lot of the men that are on the other side of that argument today are asking black men to do such stuff like that, when the ones that have had fathers in their lives never saw their fathers do anything like that at all? Do you see that is that a coincidence?
I don't know can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, brother Art. Go ahead.
I mean, I think we did have situations where our aunts were kind of on the crazy side, but sometimes our fathers had to step in. Sometimes, you know, and sometimes it was costly, and sometimes it came in handy to show some of these dudes, don't you be putting your hands on my sister.
Now,
Yeah,
Art, there's a
if
thing. There's a thing that you stated that I think is very important. Though that was a relative.
yeah.
What I'm talking about is just
We had some
random
crazy
women.
relatives too. You know, we had
Yeah,
some crazy relatives. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Everybody know what I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
about.
Yeah,
Oh
but
yes.
that's not a
what I'm
random
talking
chick though.
Yeah.
That's your aunt. Go ahead,
I
Taz.
personally think that's a false ass, internet ass argument because, like, although you didn't see it, I don't see that shit now. I see that shit on the internet on some videos, and I see people analyzing it. And those who claim they're on the other side of it, they're simply just giving their analysis of what happened on a fucking video. Like, I don't see that shit in real life nowhere. I ain't never been put in a position to help nobody on some random shit. I ain't never seen that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's internet shit. That, like, these videos of people fighting women in parking lots and shit, that's not real. I mean, not saying it don't happen, but I've been here 40-some years, dog. I ain't never seen that. I never came across that. So the conversation is generally about how you would have reacted to that video, not are you protecting women in real life. I don't think that conversation has a real basis, because we don't. I ain't never lived that experience where I'm riding down the street and a black woman needs my protection. Oh my God, that ain't never happened. That's internet shit.
Exactly. I mean, because the way people have framed it, right? They frame it as if every day on every corner, some black woman is being beat up. I mean, I live in a place, man, where there's black folks. And before I lived here, I lived in a place where it was like 80% of the damn town was black folks. And I never saw I never saw a woman getting beat up by some white person or some woman getting beat up by some man. I never saw it. I mean, I would see chicks fighting, but I never saw some man beating some woman up. I never saw some white man beating someone. I just didn't see it. Maybe I don't live, in the right places, that these people live in, where they see, all these black women getting beat up downtown all the time. I mean,
hence it doesn't make any sense for that argument to be even made, because if it's not being done like that, then on the other side, there shouldn't be some big push about our black men protecting black women and all of that type of stuff. Because my father, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the men on this panel who have fathers, their fathers instructed them how to move in ways that they wouldn't even be in situations or in spaces where women are getting beat up like that anyway.
And you know what's funny is that when they send that footage out there, it seemed like it's strategic. It seems like these guys are seemingly popping up, putting their hands on our sisters when people like us are not around. They got these little flaming, funny little dudes holding cameras or whatever. But for the most part, there's always when we're never around. I always notice that damn near every video that they put out there. But yet the narrative is always like you were explaining, where these guys, brothers not protecting us, but these people know when to put their hands on people and when not to. So, I mean, they should be able to at least comment on that part to where this stuff is strategic.
I think that has a lot to do with how those sisters are moving in the first place, though.
Yeah, that may have a lot to do with it, but when they talk that protection shit, like protect you from what? Random white men who may walk up. I mean, just random people. Like, where are you at where you're at risk of random white people just jumping on you, doing something to you out of nowhere, unprovoked? I mean, it doesn't even, it doesn't make any sense. I don't know about
that, the random white people, but when I was coming up, the neighborhood was like a hive mind. Everybody knew everybody. So I mean, if anything, with a woman getting beat up, it was by her husband, her boyfriend, you know, and even if it was like overkill, you know, people would step in and be like, no, chill, man. You know, you already took care of your business. Go ahead about your business. Go calm down. But other than that, no, anybody random, no. If people didn't know you and you in the neighborhood trying to do something, you go get dealt with. So I mean, but I can't speak for that now, you know, because you know I'm not really in the neighborhood like that anymore. So, but for the most part, you know, I'm not disagreeing with that. You know, I don't really hear too much of it, you know, but it has been incidents that it did happen, you know, especially like with that young lady on the train here in Chicago. But that was a while ago when she got stabbed to death. But you know, it don't happen often.
So
go ahead,
check,
Ken. I'm sorry.
so check me out on this though. This is kind of what I'm saying about the internet thing though. So 20 years ago, this shit would have just been like a movie, right? That's the only way they would have seen some shit like that, a movie or somebody videotape or some shit like that. But we talking about women, okay? Women can't even watch a fucking movie without crying and getting all emotionally involved in it and shit. So I take that same dynamic and put it into these videos we watching. What they see is themselves in that video fighting that white dude in that parking lot. And so they're saying, why can't you protect us? Why aren't you protecting us? Because they put themselves in that position in that parking lot. When a woman sees that shit, she sees that being herself fighting that white dude. And I say that because based on the history I've seen where a woman sitting there watching the movie, she just busts out in fucking tears. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, dog, that wasn't you. Like, that's just, we're just watching a fucking movie. And so if they do that shit with movies, I'm pretty sure they're doing that shit with these same videos type situations too that they seen on the internet where they put themselves in that position, and now all of a sudden your feelings are deeply involved in some shit that ain't got shit to do with you. But I just think that that's normal for women though, dog.
And Taz, they still got that reality TV going on, so that's a culture now. It's everything they watch on the screen is internalized. So that feeds into what you're saying. The music videos, everything. It's like, okay, I see it now, I feel it. This is who I am. So it's another form of programming, man. I don't know the antidote to it, but at least we should be able to call it out.
I would think, you know, if she's married or got a boyfriend, you know, that, you know, but I do agree. They could even have that and still feel some type of ways.
The last time I checked, and it's been years, because I know a lot of these videos with these Asian dudes putting their hands on sisters in these beauty supply places. Last time I checked, man, last time I've been in a beauty supply place, probably like maybe 6 or 7 years ago when I bought some clippers to cut my son's hair. So a lot of brothers are not really frequently in these beauty supply places. So I don't know who's around waiting to rescue sisters in these places at least.
Well, the only thing I'll add to that is, again, how the sisters are moving. If they're that emotional and they're like, oh, they can watch a movie and bust out crying, okay, well, don't be in the street arguing with a man. Don't be loud talking somebody you know that can put hands on you. That just doesn't make any sense. It's illogical.
Yeah,
Actually,
I
I think a woman that had a father would ask that father would have taught her not to do that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that, bro. Like I said, I think sometimes though we get too caught up in what we saw in a video and make that shit reality, and that be my issue. Like I know how to give commentary on a video, and it just be that, but you fuck around in black YouTube and give commentary on a video, and a motherfucker be like, "See, if he was there, he would have tried to save the woman and killed everybody." Like, I know how to separate. You know what I'm saying? How I feel and what's really going on from what I just watched. And I feel like sometimes we're not doing that shit. I think we're just as emotionally involved in that damn video as the women. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing that shit too much where we're not just giving commentary on something we saw. We acting like that was us in the damn video.
And I feel you on that, Taz. I think that's why the message needs to be put out when people have commentary on such said videos and so forth. That's why you need individuals that have that fatherly balance to say, No. You're overreacting. That is not the reality of how everything is in real life. You need to calm down and you need to understand that no, it is not the responsibility of random men who may be fathers of their own houses to come to your rescue, especially if you're engaging in activity that escalates situations.
But do you think that I'm not an expert on this, but do you think that the fact that they would cry out for this rescue is the lack of having a father in their life?
I think that's exactly the point of it.
Yeah, now who's gonna run to their rescue though, except freaking mama boys? You know, these mama's boys who, you know, think the black woman is God and think the black woman is almighty and all powerful. And
thank you, X.
Those are the ones who are gonna jump out there and put their life on the line for some random freaking chick. Like, you know, you're coming to save the day. I was always taught as a young man, especially when you're talking about like domestic violence. I think most of these women are referring to domestic violence because let's be clear, white folks ain't running around just beating up black women every day. Okay, we pretty much know that that's not the case. Okay, those are isolated incidents. Okay, people want to act like it's this trend of black women being beat up by white strangers. We know that that's BS. So I think that a lot of them are referring to the domestic violence aspect of it. That's got to be what they're talking about. Maybe I'm wrong, but even with that, I mean, my old man always taught me, hey man, you don't get in between that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because see, you fuck around and try to keep somebody from beating her ass. The next thing you know, she's crossed your head with a 40-ounce bottle. She's stabbing you in the back with a freaking knife. You know, I mean, that's so right. I was always taught to stay out of that shit. You know,
you pick your battles strategically because you understand that you have a team at home who is depending on you to make judgment calls that's going to affect them long term. So no, I know for myself as a father, I'm not going to go out and fight for some random chick over some race type of stuff. I have a family at home and they depend on me.
Oh yeah, I gotta be there for them. I have a lot of women in my family. I have sisters, I have a wife, I have 2 daughters, I have 3 granddaughters. I mean, I need to be around to put my life on the line for them. I can't put my life on the line for some chick out there who's getting beat up by her boyfriend in the middle of the street. I mean, I'll pick up my damn cell phone and call the police. I'm not gonna run out there and try to save him, try to save you. Hell no. I mean, you pick that dude. Shit. I'm not trying to go in there and freaking get him up off of you. You know, y'all out in the yard fighting, and I'm supposed to run over there and be like, hey man, you shouldn't do that to her. She's a black queen. Get the fuck out of here. I'll call the police.
Right. And that's what I was saying.
Here's the thing though, man. Here's where the issue comes in though, right? Because I don't disagree or none of that, but I think we being intellectually dishonest though if we sit here and have a conversation in front of the women and then they start complaining about not being protected and we just sat here and laughed like, bitch, I ain't got to protect you. You know what I'm saying? So what the hell, like, why are you at this point? That just negates the original question he asked, right? Because now they're responding to a response. Because I don't, and see me, I'm going to be honest with you. I tell that bitch off top, bitch, I ain't got to, ain't going to, and fuck you conversation over. These niggas are talking about this shit. This is a conversation these niggas having. And so when you start talking to a nigga like me, I got to call you lame, simp, cornball, all of that shit because you're projecting a message out to the women that has them coming back with this lame shit. I'm not even finna give a bitch the benefit of this discussion. That's what these niggas on YouTube do though. You creating these conversations with these bitches, nigga. Do you see that? Do you see that they're sitting around having these conversations because niggas is sitting around giving them the ideas? Y'all sitting around saying, we ain't got to protect y'all. Y'all don't deserve our protection. So, nigga, you think they gonna respond to that? Now, I don't give a fuck about that type of shit. You put me in the wrong situation, I might protect, I might defend, and you put me in a situation where some shit going down, I ignore it, I might ignore it. You never know. But I'm not about to be sitting on here talking about situations I ain't never been in. So
here's a counter.
Because to me, that gives them an argument.
Here's a counter to that, Taz, though. For years, decades, that's what black men have not really had black male spaces for them to voice their concerns about basically anything that they wish to talk about. Black women have had that for decades. That's why you have virtual spaces like this where X has his show, a whole host of other black men have their shows, and it's supposed to be places where they can go and discuss things as they see fit. Now, if women come in there, particularly black women, and they listen and so forth, why are they there in the first place? It's not for them. It's for black men to discuss what they wanted to discuss. So if they come in there and get in their feelings and so forth, that's on them. That's their decision. They don't have to be there.
And see, to me, that's just more of that internet shit, dog. Because I'm just be honest with you. Again, this is where we get to mama's boy shit. To me, those are the mama's boys, the niggas who sit up here and talk like that and say that kind of shit. Dog, I don't give a fuck what that bitch said, though. I don't give a fuck what she's going through. I ain't never not had a space where I can talk. There's never been a time in my life where I looked around and said, damn, I wish I could say what the fuck I want to say. Your parents, where was your daddy then? Did your daddy tell you can't talk? Like, I don't get this shit. Where was your fucking daddy when it was time for you to have a goddamn male space? You niggas keep getting on this internet talking about we ain't had a male space. Well, where was your fucking daddy? That's what I want to know.
I'm not
where was
saying
your
anything.
Motherfucking dad then? Because to be honest with you, nigga, my mama didn't stop me from having a male space wherever I went.
I gotta kind of
agree.
I gotta kind of agree with Taz on that one. I think that we kind
of disagree with him.
No,
yeah.
I think I think we kind of overstate our lack of voice. I think we can say that we didn't have a voice in mainstream media. Okay. Probably didn't have a voice there, but I don't think there was ever a time where black men couldn't, voice their opinions, talk about the shit they wanted to talk about. Maybe it wasn't as widespread as us on the internet now, but I think we kind of overstated when we talk about, we never had a voice, we weren't able to talk. I think we have to kind of distinguish, we have to kind of distinguish where, when, and how we had a voice. I think we didn't have a voice in media. No, I mean, we didn't have a voice in that. But I don't think it was ever a time where black men didn't have a voice, per se. You understand what I'm saying? I think we kind of overstate that sometimes. I mean, that's just me.
Right. I agree.
I'll let everybody go first before I come back.
Go ahead, Dre.
I was going to say, what I'll say is this. I think what happened is, like I said, we never had a voice, but I think that our voice, every time we said something that bothered us, it was kind of frowned upon. I think that that's really why more people, it's kind of mislabeled. It's not that we didn't have a voice, but every time we spoke up about how we felt or what we wanted, it was frowned upon. Like, a real man wouldn't say that shit, or man wouldn't ask for that. You should just suck it up, don't say nothing. It's just, I think that's really where a lot of people are really coming from, and it's just mislabeled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can go along with that.
Agreed. And you with the virtual space, now you meeting brothers from all over. It's just not in that, you're not in that box, which I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. If you do have your father or your brothers there, you could sit back and talk to. But now with this, now you meet other brothers from all over, so and even what you were saying, Taz, still that gives an opportunity, like what you just said, for a person like me. If it wasn't from this, I would never know what would be your standpoint on the situation. So I think that's basically what we were saying. And I mean, so many words. So I don't mind it. I just, hey, honestly, it surprised me. You know, I used to talk about my situation, my child support and all that. I can't sit there with my brothers and not saying that they're in the same situation, but at that time they wasn't. So I mean, who I could really, you know, sit back and actually have a conversation about, you know, about that too. So, and I didn't find that out too. I came on YouTube and I was meeting other brothers, man, that's going through the same shit I was going through. So, you know, so yeah, I feel like it's needed, but I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. No, but at the same time, though, I do feel like it's needed.
Art, did you want to go before me?
No, I'm just listening in. You know, taking whatever in. You go ahead, brother.
Well,
brother Art kind of quiet tonight, man. I'm not used to you being so quiet, brother Art.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out where I can fit in. You know, I'm waiting for a position.
Okay. Well, the colloquial term having a voice generally means being able to have your concerns talked about in mainstream media. Hence, when rap came out, you had a lot of rappers that would state, we wanted to voice our concerns about what was going on in the neighborhood. They weren't saying that they didn't have anybody within their neighborhood that they could talk to about things that were going on. They were saying that largely in America, their concerns, the things that they had to deal with day in and day out, were not being talked about in mainstream media, as if the things that they were speaking about on a day-to-day basis between themselves was being unheard by other people. And when their voice came out within those medias, other people and other brothers all around America began to say, oh yeah, that's actually what happens in my neighborhood as well. And then they had some sense of camaraderie. So the whole idea of, oh no, I didn't have an individual voice in my house. No, that's not the whole point. It's a colloquial term.
Right. Well,
so
guess who you're talking
that colloquial term.
You're talking to a product of that hip hop generation, though. You're talking to a product of it. And most of the time, when you're talking to niggas like me, you're talking to a product of that hip hop generation that told us, yeah, nigga, you do have a voice. So what you're talking about, you just proved my point. We were told we have a voice by that same hip hop generation that some niggas say ruined us. Imagine that. Maybe we can get into that conversation someday. The same motherfucking shit that they say ruined us, destroyed us, gave us this bad thoughts and shit like that. That's what told us also that we have a voice.
Well, the only thing that I'm saying, Taz, is it took that in order for Black male voices to be heard, even in a destructive tone in some cases. It took that in order for them to be recognized in America, that generation.
20 years before that, did anybody hear Huey? Did
Say
anybody hear
what?
Dr. King? Did anybody hear Malcolm?
Okay, how many?
Talking about voices, those were prominent voices. The voices
right,
were
and
never
they got on TV, they got on radio, they used media, and that's all I'm saying. Is the same thing today. The same Black men are able to use media at their disposal to voice their concerns.
But the only difference between those two dynamics, I don't even know it's not really a position if it's for or against what anyone's saying, is that when you're looking at the Malcolms and the Hueys and the Martin Luther Kings or what have you, they use CBS, NBC, and all those particular things to really get their message across. And they were pretty much held to the mercy of how they would spin it when they bring it to the public. Whereas YouTube, it's whatever's out there, unless and not too many of us really edit our stuff. It's just right is what it is.
Yeah, it's unfiltered.
Yeah, so you might have a little bit of advantage for that, but still the problem lies, like Taz is saying, is that some of this stuff is so repetitive that you don't even know what's false and what's true. And so the wrong people are listening to the wrong narrative could really mess things up, make things a lot worse, just because people just want to say something. People have to really think about what they say before they say it and put things out there.
Well, I mean, if you want to go with that argument, Art, you could say that for the most part, rap was repetitive.
Well, going back to rap or hip hop, remember hip hop was a lifestyle. It's not really, and rap is what you do. So when you're looking at that, that was unfiltered as well until the mainstream took it in their hands and start, putting in different directions that wasn't really privy to us. So remember the message and all that stuff that came out? That was real talk. People appreciated that all the way from different countries. Now, but we're talking about now, it's been a lot of things been co-opted, So I listened to Taz and he talked about, because we had a conversation about death certificate. That's the streets along with the whole conscious thing. So it was a mixture of all that to where I'm street, but I crack heads for my people. That kind of thing. That's, if you think about that, brother Kuhn, that's one of the government's worst nightmares. That's the worst nightmare when you got the street element, but you got knowledge of self, and you killing for the sake of your people. I mean, that's a juggernaut. That's something that's uncontrollable. So if that message get put out there in large numbers, then where will we be?
Well,
I could debate with you about that one.
Let me ask you, brothers, this: do you believe that much of the hip hop lifestyle generation was that stuff started by Mama's Boys? Was that something that Mama Boys started because of the way they were living?
Whoa,
I believe that
that's a good question.
I think that it's intrinsically anti-father.
What, hip hop? Hip hop is anti-father, you said?
Wow.
A great majority of it. Yes, I do.
Please
let me hear
explain.
this one, please.
There's so many ways to go with this, but you show me where hip hop teaches on in the, I would say, in its general form. How does it teach young men to be good fathers?
But I could go back. I could go back and ask you, how does it teach you not to be a good father?
Nah, that's one of those questions to where it's a thing of, it's almost like saying how does it's almost like asking an individual. Let me come back at you.
Reason why.
I'll tell you why.
I just want to give you the examples. I mean, I can go from be a
go ahead.
father to your child, Ed OG and the Bulldogs, to Shaq's biological father song, all the way back to even the LL I Need Love. Are we saying that right there is the problem? Is that Mama's Boy shit? When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and then in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call. Is that Mama's Boy shit? Is that
No, I think you're going about it wrong, Taz. I think what he's saying is, how did rap music teach people to be fathers? Well, think about this, though. The generation who were mainstream rap music took over. If you notice, most of those people that were really hot, where we got all these sayings from people like that, they all came from homes without a father.
But what are we?
So what I'm saying? How are they going to teach you how to be a father if they never had one?
But I can go
what genre are we talking about? I mean, when y'all talking about hip hop.
But I'm saying, right, when you said rap music, so I was saying that not just hip hop, but if you notice, most of the rap music, when they think of old school rap, they think of Biggie, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, people like that. All them people didn't have a father. Tupac, no fathers.
But let me go.
But they weren't anti-father.
Right, that's
it wasn't anti-father. I don't think it was anti-father. They just didn't have their father, so they didn't talk about them.
I mean, is it hip hop? Is it hip hop jobs to give you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is I think the argument is being misconstrued. It isn't a whole thing of you either like you're not being like you're anti-father. What I'm saying is either you're going to give skills and thought patterns to individuals to help them succeed as a father, or you're going to give them skills that are going to go against that. there aren't any in-betweens of, oh, I'm not doing anything to affect you. It's gonna affect you one way or another.
But if you ain't from where I'm from, how do you know how I should be taught or how it will affect me in my environment? You ain't from where I'm from.
Okay, well, just look at the statistics of where we're at right now. The majority of our people know rap.
Somebody who didn't live it. I don't have
The
to look
majority
at statistics of shit. I lived that. You have to speak from the outside of it with statistics. I can tell you from the inside of it what it actually is.
Okay, well, why?
But here you go, Taz. You could be an exception to the rule, so sometimes you got to take that into consideration too, buddy.
Let me add some dimension to this, go if I may. We talking about R&B, rock, and even soul. Were those songs, or were those genres in particular, teaching you how to be good fathers too?
I mean, wow.
Not that I know of.
Not I know of.
So why would we hold hip hop to that same standard?
Thank you.
I think there are a variety of songs that did teach different things about fatherhood that were in those genres of old.
Right. I just believe they didn't get the radio airplay either. That's the only
ones I knew was King of the Castle by Four Tops and Wake Up every. I mean, that's the only ones I know. But I don't know no songs.
Right, but we not. But see what I'm saying?
Know.
See, I wonder how long it's gonna take to get to some shit like Papa was a Rolling Stone though.
Yeah, and that was the negative side.
Yeah, I don't know no songs that taught us how to be good fathers. Is that the question on the table?
Yep. And we have been joined by my bro, Gab Talk, up in here. What's good,
sir?
What's good? Media.
Hey, what's good, y'all?
None of y'all listen to that.
That's a good goddamn question, though, man. No songs.
No songs, period. Not even classical.
Yeah, no songs was teaching us how to be good fathers, man.
I got a question though for you, Gab.
Okay.
You say no songs taught you that way, but think about this: is a lot of us only know the hits. There's a lot of songs on records where you be like, man, you got a record you listen to, and you be like, man, that song is the shit. I don't know why they don't play that song. So
correction that I can remember. Correction that I can remember.
That you can remember, right? Because those unfortunately think about it. The media was controlled on making wait. Let me finish. The media was controlled on making the women look good. How many things did you think about it? You didn't see no TV shows where they made the man look good.
Well,
I got another.
Somebody wrote.
Father knows best.
Somebody wrote "Isn't She Lovely" by Stevie Wonder.
In the can barely hear Taz. Taz kind of low.
Sarah, smile.
Tupac, keep your head up.
Mm-hmm. That's for women though. Keep your head up as women.
That's not,
I know you're fed up, lady.
Let him make the connection.
Wait a minute.
Make the connection, Taz.
The narrative, but the last verse of that song, that man specifically say, "Thank the Lord for my kids, even if nobody else want them, because I think we can make it. In fact, I'm sure." That nigga did that whole verse about black men, because what he say? Ain't no answers when your son want to know why his daddy don't love him no more. Nigga, that shit wasn't about not having a father because men ain't shit. It was like, all right, well, nigga, you should be there. You should be there.
Yeah, but that's teaching about an absence. I'm trying to look for something stronger than that. I'm trying to see where they have like actually said things that would confirm strong fatherhood.
No, only thing was
accented a point.
G and the Bulldog.
Right, Gab.
But see, here's the thing though. When he sits there and said, when whatchamacall said that, the thing I'm saying is it was a lot of messages shot at the people who didn't have a father by those who didn't, because they know it's fucked up and wrong. Yeah, Scarface didn't have his father there, but that don't stop him from doing songs about you being a father though. That's all I'm saying. Like, you can't make it sound like the message was don't be a father. Fatherhood is bad.
It wasn't.
Opposite.
It wasn't
anti-father. Let me say this though. But if you look at the comparisons of songs that you have, and let's just say period, like the songs we listen to, R&B, rap, whatever, that you have more songs praising women than it was mothers than fathers getting praised.
Sports, politics, all that's. I mean, that's always going to be.
But I'm just staying with with the music. That aspect of it.
And then the part that I want to add in too, I want to ask everyone. I mean, if anybody knows about, we need Crew on the panel too. Well, if he knows his history, where do you think, as far as all these songs have been produced, all these classic hits, jazz, all these things that we couldn't really find where do you think they got these songs from? Their mamas or their daddies? To make
their daddy.
That's something to think about.
That's a good point because I got the song from
no
my
idea.
father. My father.
Dad's in their lives.
The other thing that I'll bring up is this. Look at the skill set that was being pushed to the young men of how to behave. All of those things. Well, I wouldn't say all of them, but there is a great facet or there's a great majority of things that were pushed to them, ideas that are not good ideas to be
for you, nigga, for a nigga that ain't from where I'm from. That's what I'm saying. That this is where we get
how is smashing through hoes a good thing for a father?
Depends on what you listen to.
I'm not telling you it is or ain't, but if you're not from that environment, you don't even understand the beginning of what somebody would be saying that is.
Okay, but explain how does 2 Live Crew help me to be a good father?
Shit, I'm not a fan of 2 Live Crew.
That's being too specific. That's being too specific. That's not fair.
Well, to me, you just jumped off the goddamn bridge with 2 Live Crew, nigga.
How does Tupac saying I get around? How does Tupac saying I get around teach me to be a good father?
But we gotta take that away from the narrative as far as
help me to be a good father.
But we gotta take.
How does Future saying pop Percocets teach me to be a good father?
I wish you would slow down. Because if we just stop when I get around, we wouldn't even have this conversation, right? Because the underground just don't stop for hoes. That's what you niggas do every day. You niggas stop to talk about hoes.
But hold on, I gotta speak on that Tupac song because when he did make that song, it wasn't like he was a father. I mean, as me being a single person, I mean, hey, you doing what you was doing, and I feel like he was doing the same thing. If he was a father and he made that song, yeah, I could see your point. But he didn't have no kids that I know of, and I remember
that makes
saying
no
he had
difference.
any.
That makes no difference. And what if y'all are talking about songs that promoted some type of strong fatherhood? That song does in no way represent that. He was playing the field. He was being a youngin.
And what song?
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
And what songs promoted? What songs promoted motherhood?
Nah, everything.
There was nothing having to do.
It was all. I'm gonna tell you, with all that shit was love, sex, and love and sex.
Money.
I mean, not love. Some of it was love though, but love and sex, man. Seriously, that's kind of what that shit was back in the 60s and 70s, man. It wasn't no real positive promotions of what we should be doing in our lives. It was very few songs. You probably can pick out a few. But a lot of that shit had to do with, we had mama songs and shit, loving your mother, and it was a whole lot of loving women and shit on these joints, man.
But I understand what he's trying to say, though. He's trying to say that, if he can correct me, is that if hip hop was so prominent in our lives or whatever, how come it didn't have any kind of opening to promoting men or boys growing up to be men and responsible fathers? But I would answer that I don't think that was the job of the music. That wasn't the job.
No, it wasn't. But that's why. That's why I asked what I asked. Did hip hop, was hip hop created? Did it come about because of the quote unquote mama boys who were living a life with just their mom? They didn't have a father, so they were influenced by nothing but women, grandma, mama, auntie, and that kind of thing. Did that give them that edge? Did that give them that, whatever it took to sit down and write those rap songs and bang those beats on buckets and garbage cans? Did that come from being a mama's boy?
That was their rebel. That was their rebel cry. That was that, just like the whole rock and roll thing. It was the James Dean, but on the street, on hip hop. It was more of that masculine expression, to where that was your rebellious time. But I think the problem that we have is that shit just lasts too long.
I think X is right. I think X is exactly right in what he put out there.
I agree, Gab.
Either that, or maybe hip hop. I'll go a step further. Maybe hip hop was them trying to step away from the mama's boy.
Oh, there you go.
That too. Yeah,
what I was trying to say. because that's what, like, I feel, and this is my opinion, like how you had gangster rap, how you had NWA. Because if you really listen to what they were saying, they was talking about poverty. Now, I'm not saying that there's, wasn't fathers that was in them houses, but mostly around that time, usually, it was single mother homes. So, and that's basically, that's what they was talking about. So
I think they was.
And I go ahead, my bad, guy.
No, you was talking. I think they was trying to find a way to manhood. I think when we listen, what we're listening to is ourselves or our community that really didn't have strong fatherhoods. But we was trying to learn something in the street about being men, about being young males, even without the guidance. I think in the music, we found young men who were trying to find their way to being, to represent what a strong male, strong men feel like. That's why we always rapped about men.
Hey, you Borgen guy, but let me say this. I think that's why you had a Boys in the Hood movie. You see what I'm saying? I was trying to make that correlation of, the gangster rap also with the movie with the Boys in the Hood. Because basically what you just said, that's what, and I'm just saying, once again, my opinion that I saw from the movie Boys in the Hood.
Well, but here's that gap though, right here though, because some people look at Boys in the Hood, Fresh, South Central, Juice. They look at them movies as the promotion of a lifestyle as opposed to a dramatization of one. And so I think if people could look at that and understand that that was just some people's circumstances and they lived it, and then let's try to fix it from here, I think we would be in a better position. But I think there's a lot of judgment based on how someone else grew up, and that creates an unnecessary rift.
Right. But why I said I specifically brought up Boys in the Hood because it gave you the picture with Trey when, at the beginning with the problems he was having with his mother, and then he went to live with his father. And then you had the other thing with Ice Cube. I mean, with him and living with his mother and the situation that was going on. Yeah, and that's why I just basically stuck with that movie.
So let's not just skip over that. Doesn't that completely fuck this whole idea that strong black fathers wasn't shown?
Yeah, Styles, right. And you got a point.
The strongest father in the history of TV, nigga.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a damn good one.
And he gave you the whole picture.
But hey, guess what? The power that's what actually made a part of that movie so powerful is because we didn't see much of that. That was like a breakthrough to me.
Facts. That's a fact.
So again, is that back to promoting what's necessary that just ended up being overlooked and still not respected today?
Yeah. Well, does life imitate art, or does art have a tendency to imitate life?
That's a hard one.
50. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, I think it goes back and forth. Because we project in our music too. We also project about things that we want.
Well, I'm saying when you look at hip hop specifically, you can see it, right? Because even back in the day, you saw a KRS-One sitting there projecting a lot of this shit and predicting a lot of what was coming. So you know what I'm saying? That would be one side of it, but then the flip side of it is some of these motherfuckers do watch this shit and then go out and try to become it. You know what I'm saying? But some of it has been foresight. We can look back and see how some niggas was talking about, damn, this is what it's gonna be, and this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So art has imitated life, but then you turn around, you see life imitating art just as much.
Cycle. I think it's a cycle. It'll do both. It'll do both.
I would say that
can we all agree that mama's boys are more likely to come out of unwed mothers' homes, at least? I mean, can we all agree on that? That, you're more likely to be a mama's boy if all you got is mama, right?
That sounds right.
I agree.
Okay. Does that apply to the father who always at work? Or the father that's in the military? Does it apply to that father that's over there in the military for 8 years and only see his kids on the holidays? I'm saying he's not across the board, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you the difference.
Being exposed He's not being exposed to his old
No, there's
man.
a difference.
There's a great difference. Gab, could you go first? I think I want to follow because I think we're on the same path with this one.
The mom who actually has a husband that's in the military is going to be preaching the love of that father to that child. There's going to be some contact and the women, the fatherless homes. There tends to be a negative narrative about men in many of those homes because of the lack of.
I would give you that, Gab, if it wasn't such a narrative about women always shitting on the black father. I just can't give you that half-ass based on their argument that this is what black women do. So if black women do it, then it doesn't just apply to that military family. You know what I'm saying? If the father's absent because he's at work, it's still the same dynamic. You don't get
here's the other component to that argument, Taz.
I was trying to follow Taz, though. I didn't quite catch it. Did everybody else catch what he was actually saying?
Yeah, I heard what he said.
Heard him. I mean, I heard him, but I was trying to get the meaning and break it down a little bit more.
And I can agree, to a point, but if the father is, say, in the military, and he's overseas for 8 years, whatever the case may be, he's still going to be represented in that child's life to some degree, as opposed to a child with no father who has no contact. I think they're similar situations, but not the same. I don't think they're the same.
And here's another dynamic to that.
And that mother's not teaching the love of that father when he's not there. A man who's in the military making the way, or a man that's at work making the way for that home, the love of that father is being transferred from that mom to that child because she is appreciating the role that the man is playing in the life of that family. So that child is receiving something.
Yeah, if he's not there physically, he's still there in spirit.
Pushing it and molding it to what you wanted to, because I could say the same thing then about that. What about
I knew Taz was going to say that.
I want to hear
that nigga in the penitentiary calling home and sending that love.
I knew. I know, but there's go that route.
No, that's another example.
No, he's right.
There's another component. Like, yeah, there's another component that's not being talked about though, that I think that Taz is missing.
Okay.
Even in a household where you say there's a military dad, or there's a dad that's working a lot of hours and he's not at home a lot, the child still sees that example, that day-to-day example. He sees his father across seas serving for something else, and he can communicate it, and he can say, "Yeah, my father's in the military." There's pride in that.
And providing.
My father is providing. He gets up every morning super early to go do this and so forth. He comes in, he tucks me in. Those are examples of what that young boy can see.
And can I add on to what Supreme said? Because actually I agree with him, because then you look at the mother, it's gonna be two different type of things she's going to feel. Because if the father's in prison, she's going to stress more so. And don't get me wrong, things can happen to the father in the military. I'm not saying that she's not worried, but there's income being provided and other things being tangibles being provided towards with him being in the military than with him being in prison.
Yeah.
But see how far y'all went to off track to try to prove your point.
Oh no! Come on.
I see what you're saying.
Go ahead. Let me hear Brother Taz. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear him.
Initially, it was simply about the father being absent. But the more I prove your point not being valid, you go and start kicking out other things to try to validate your point. Keep in mind,
I think
there's nothing to kick. There's nothing to kick in. There's nothing to kick in about a father going to work every day and providing an example of hard work every day. There is
absence.
Well, we can go point for point, like we can give Taz his point, but I think the conversation is naturally going to expand because we're actually exploring what it means to be a father. So it's their components that we can't leave out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. But he can have his point like because it did get it's expanding, but I think the nature of the conversation is going to demand it because of
no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think that, I mean, of course, Brother Taz has a point, but absence is subjective. You got absence because a brother is in the army. You got absence because a brother is in jail. You got absence because I know my father was absent a lot when I was a young guy. My father would do 12, 14-hour days when I was little. So you got absence with the old man working all the time. Then you got absence, the old man is dead. Then you got absence where the old man, just squirted you in your mama's belly and he moved to the other side of the world. So, I mean, absence, there's many different forms of absence. So I guess each case of absence would have a different, it would have a different outcome because all of those circumstances are similar, but they're not the same.
But see,
understand what I'm saying.
But X, let me tell you the problem in that though, especially when you're dealing with me. Any other time there's a uniform policy about black women all the way across the board. They're all the same. Until we start talking about something like this, when I was like, no, this black mother would be better to her son because her dad's in the military. Her children's father is in the military. See what I'm saying? We don't section off black women no other time. But now when it's time for them to make their argument and for them to be right, this mother would do this. This mother would teach her child this. This child would learn this based on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm dealing with the uniform black women is fucked up and can't raise children in the absence of men argument. Now that I debunked that shit across the board, now we starting to see little pockets of examples where when black women are doing right in raising these children in the absence of the father, even though maybe the absence is warranted.
And I don't disagree with that, but I was just talking in general. I basically was just saying with women, and just from my experience, because I was in the military. I wasn't married, but I was in the military, and I could see from other, people that I knew that was married, black. It was just, all around. It wasn't just black men and black women that was married. I could see, especially just from the men, how they felt about the situation, but what they did. But also the prison side of it is that also I looked at my family, which was my brother, which he just got married and he went to prison. And I got to see it from that, that side also. But I was just saying in general, I didn't, bring out black women or black anything, but I get what you're saying with that. But I would just say
not you individually. Nobody individually separated the black women.
Okay.
But I'm saying you did though. I ain't saying you did in the conversation. I'm saying you did without noticing it. Because like I said, when it was time to say, well, this mother would instill that love from the father, that just happened to be the military mom though. See what I'm saying? It's just by it's just by default you're making that separation because you do want it to be acknowledged that the father dynamic is important. But the point being, in the absence, if that love has to be filtered through the mother, I'm saying that this is the first time I've even heard that even being plausible, because usually it's black women can't do it at all.
Right, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but I was also adding in the tangibles of it, as the financial gains, and I was just adding that to it. But I'm not disagreeing with that. You're right, but that's what I was saying that I've seen. So, but you're right. If you're looking at it from that way, yeah, I can't disagree with you on that.
Yeah, I think Taz is making a point, but I wasn't coming necessarily from that point of view. I didn't think about it. I was trying to think about the full spectrum of what a father is. The conversation started to make me think about what is the value of the dad. Is it actually just talking about him? So the reason I expanded, I'm like, something is missing. Something was missing, like you've got a working father who is providing. So I started thinking, okay, this guy's actually providing. If you happen to be in prison, there's no provisions necessarily being made for that home. which the mom doesn't have as much to brag about, if that's the right way to say it. But I do know of parents who were very proud of their dads that may have made a mistake and winded up in prison, and that child was happy about the dad, but it still did not equal up to be the same when it was, you know, time to get gifts. What did your father get you? That kind of stuff. Unless the mother, because there are some cases where the mom was able to cover down and kind of make sure that you did something in the name of that dad for that child. So there are ways that certain moms would do that. Now you have to, I can't argue with anybody on statistics and things like that. I don't have that number of parents that they were actually making sure that father was well represented, that was actually locked up.
Right, and I didn't want to talk about that either.
No, y'all make a great point though about the provisions and providing. No, you make a great point with that.
Yeah, because
the other thing that I have
the
to
father
add
has
that,
he has some influence. So I mean, you don't, as a father, you don't have influence if you never see the kid and you live on the other side of the world, or you're dead, or whatever the case may be. You don't have any influence. I mean, if you're in the military, you're gonna have some degree of influence on the child, if only a little bit. I mean, you're gonna have some influence on the child, and you're probably less likely, even if your father's stationed overseas for 10 years, you're probably less likely to become a mama's boy than somebody who doesn't even know who his father is. I mean, for the simple fact that your father has some influence on your life, even though he's been stationed, you know.
I don't know though,
because he's still talking to you. He's still having conversations with you. He's talking to you on the phone. He's Skyping you. He's whatever, you know, they do over there in the military.
Ask you this, X, so do you associate a lot of like the street culture with mama's boys? Do you associate the two together?
I believe that many of the dudes on the street who are not mama boys now, I think they were when they were younger. I think that's why they're so emotional. That's why they kind of react like females. They kind of think and feel like females, because they were mama's boys. And I think they don't know how to get out of the shell of it. So in some crazy way, they're trying to show their masculinity with the things they do, the crap they don't take. I'll shoot you in your face if you step on my sneaker. You know, that kind of stuff. They're trying to show their masculinity, but these things aren't masculine at all. Because real men, we're not going to stab you because you stepped on our wingtip. We're not going to kill you over $5. I think their masculinity has become bastardized because they were mama's boys when they were younger. That's what I believe.
See, so like within that though, to me, I think what gets left out a lot of times, like when you say emotional, right? I think it's the opposite. I think a lot of these niggas don't have emotion at all. They're emotionless, and that's why it's easy to pop off. They're not popping off because of anything other than a disrespect that they don't know how to handle. So when you stepped on my Jordans, it wasn't that you stepped on my Jordans and that's what pissed me off. It's this misdirected disrespect. You don't know how to handle what you perceive as disrespect. And so I think what we're calling emotional now is actually a lack of emotion, a lack of empathy, no understanding for how those around you may feel. That's a lack of something, not an abundance of something. I think that's the norm that I've seen in the street culture, is that people don't give a fuck for real. Not just talking about it, really don't give a fuck. So it's that easy to shoot you in your fucking face because I don't care.
Hey Taz, what can I add on to that? What you saying?
Point.
Well, maybe that's the thing towards like with them being with their mamas, because maybe their mama's not giving them that emotion. Maybe there is no empathy she's showing towards with the father not being in the home, and maybe as he's seeing that, that's what he's taking to the streets. You're right. That's a great point you made.
I don't think women know how to teach men that.
Exactly.
I don't think a woman can teach
I'm not
a man
just saying
how to
right.
handle
I'm not
emotions,
saying
though.
towards teach him to be a man, but just in the home that she's not even showing him emotion. It's basically
but I'm saying,
just
dealing
chaos.
with emotion and logic, I don't think a woman can show a man that.
Oh no, I
Yeah, that's
definitely
what I
agree
was
with you
going
on
to say.
that.
But just to
I
put
definitely
something in
agree with that.
perspective.
But I'm
Okay.
just saying that cat. But I always look at the mother as being, she's the nurturer, and that's not even being given in the home.
Let's put something in perspective, though. Emotion does not always mean that you care or you're being kind.
Correct.
Sometimes it's
correct.
More,
Thanks for clarifying that. Thanks.
It's something to where you're just basing it on something within. So if you have your logic tells your emotions to, hey, cool it, chill.
Facts.
Facts. That's your masculine energy taking over the emotions. But when the masculine energy is falling asleep, and the emotions are all over the place. That's why when men use their emotions compared to women, there's more damage done. And sometimes to back up what Taz is saying, it's not only you being with a lack of apathy or feelings or anything like that. Is the fact that you don't really understand the magnitude of the damage that you would do based on uncontrolled emotions. That's why a lot of people hit the wall. A woman hit the wall, it's still intact for the most part. We hit the wall, we put a hole in it.
Yeah. Which is why you need that father there.
If I could follow that real quickly, Art. The whole thought is, again, it's not a lack of emotion. Uncontrolled emotion, uncontrolled anger, uncontrolled jealousy,
there it is,
uncontrolled fear, uncontrolled doubt, uncontrolled feelings of disrespect. It has nothing to do with, I don't care. It's you care actually too much, and you don't know how to direct that in the right way.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, because I get what you're saying in the suburbs, okay, but like, depending on your environment is depending on how your response should be. And that's being in different environments, knowing that if you respond by walking away in the suburbs, it might not bother you. You might have made it the right move and you'll never have to deal with it again. You walk away in the hood, you might have 5 niggas ready to fight you tomorrow because they think you soft. So the dynamics change depending on where you are.
But is that because there's no fathers there? Is the hood?
Does it matter if your father's there when you're dealing with people in public, though? Because the scenario I just gave, my father told me to fight them niggas.
Right, but like in terms of how you going to train your children today, your sons are probably coming up with more logic because they spent more time with the father in the home.
Yeah, but when he was presented with a situation in school where motherfucker wanted to fight him, they went to the bathroom and hit, and my son came and told me what happened.
But would you agree?
It still don't change the reaction. I raised my son, ain't never not been there a day. But if he felt disrespected and it was time to hit, nigga, it was time to hit. Facts. I don't know what you mean by uncontrollable.
Now, would you agree that the way that you gave your son logic would be different than if you were not there?
In some situations, yeah. But in that situation, because like I say, when you talk about uncontrollable, some situations you get in, there's no way out of it other than to do what you got to do, depending on what that is.
I'm gonna admit something real quick. I just want to make an admission. Be honest with me. I feel like we grew up in mostly a matriarch where men was raised by mostly their moms, and the dads were away at work and everything that y'all just said. So I feel like most of the men in the Black community grew up, somewhat effeminate, not to make so I think they passed all of that stuff down to us. So the things that I thought was, this great show of masculinity was not necessarily masculinity as I'm learning it today.
Good
So
point,
I have not been that dude that I thought I was being, that male that I thought I was being.
Were we
Great
mama's
point.
boys? You know how I always say
I was.
we all were simps at some point.
Yeah,
Were we
I
all
was
mama's
yeah.
boys?
I was mama's boys.
I mean, my mother basically was putting in my head that I couldn't call a woman a bitch. I'm supposed to open the door for a woman. I'm supposed to do this, do this, do that, do this. And my father not one time never told me that. Not one time. So
that's
me
what I'm saying.
either.
Those of us that were outright rebellious would be seen as problematic in conversations, because being outright rebellious, I know motherfucking well I couldn't have been a mama's boy because I spent so much time trying to be on the opposite side of what she said. So it's
me too.
So you had uncontrolled masculine energy. So that means that you were masculine. You were representing masculinity without a guide there.
Yeah,
like if your father wasn't there, I think you're right. I think the streets.
He left in my teams.
Yeah, I think the streets taught us certain forms of masculinity just because we were, fucking with each other amongst men. But I think because there was no fatherhood there, they weren't teaching us how to do. Okay, go ahead.
But even, hold on, I'm not trying to cut you off, bro. I'm going to be real quick. But even though I had a father, and when I was out there in the street, I had a problem with somebody, my father never told me to whoop their ass. But you know something? If they did disrespect me, I whooped their ass. It was just a reaction, but I never looked at it was something wrong. It was just like, hey, I reacted.
See, our fathers didn't have lesson plan. That's what I'm talking about. There was no script, no lesson plan whatsoever. We kind of we've been winging it. Our masculine energy was killed by slavery like so long ago, dude. And the question is, who restored it? Who restored it?
I got another good question for you guys, though. And I think most of us pretty much came up in the late 70s, early 80s. Now, back in my time, dinosaur days, I'm joking. But back in the day, for the most part, the best way to get your metal tested is how you be able to, put them things up, right? But probably like in the 80s or so, a lot of people had access to guns. I mean, a lot of people had access to guns. So the question is, do you think that do you think that the guns was a result of guys that didn't know how to fight that happened to be mama's boys?
I think that's a possibility. I mean, brother Supreme just typed in the chat, do the streets teach masculinity? I think it may to a degree, but I think a lot of it is bastardized masculinity. Because I say again, I mean, a real man does not shoot you over $5. A grown-ass man does not stab you because you stepped on his freaking Brooks Brothers shoes. I mean, when you're a man, that stuff may bother you, but it doesn't bother you to the point where you want to shoot, kill, stab, because when you're a man, you're above that, and you see that as something very infinitesimal on this on the scope of life.
Right.
I don't think we give it the credence it deserves, because ain't nobody killing nobody for stepping on their shoe. It's the fucking intention. If you're intending to disrespect me, it don't matter how. If you spit in my face or step on my shoe, it holds the same weight if your intention was disrespect.
Exactly. I agree.
He's
that.
addressing the disrespect. Yeah, I got exactly what he's saying. It don't have.
Do we kill over disrespect?
It's the intention.
Are we quick to deem something as blatant disrespect? Because someone can step on your shoe by accident. And
I agree.
There's an expectation of in that street culture I be taught. There's an expectation of respect, though. That's what the whole real, recognize real. That's what that statement means. There's an expectation among respect with black men. When I walk in a room full of black men, like, what up, y'all? I expect niggas to be like, what up, bro?
Yeah.
When they don't, nigga, that's like, well, shit, what type niggas these is?
Breaking the code.
I'm gonna have a problem. Yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with you. And that's with made
it unsafe.
Anybody, to be honest with you.
You told me by not speaking to me, I gotta watch my back.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel very uncomfortable.
Is
that a masculine trait or a feminine trait, though?
That's feminine.
It could be. You know what? You kind of put something out there.
Yeah.
This is a good goddamn conversation, man.
Wait,
if I'm giving you
respect, you saying is the expectation masculine or feminine?
No,
to the action.
The reaction. The reaction.
Said you walk into a room or you walk into a bar or something like that, and you walk up, and you know how we do. We walk in, we like, you know, what's good, bro? You know, and nobody says anything. How we perceive that is that feminine, because people didn't say hi to us.
I think it's fair for when, you know what, here's what I'm gonna say. I think it's natural for me to walk into a room and speak to everybody and realize ain't no love in this motherfucking room, so I might have to watch out for myself. I think that's plain natural logic.
Right, but me, when I'm speaking
now, if
to
it's masculine or feminine, I think it's masculine to use your logic to say I'm gonna have to watch my back.
True.
Right. Some people use their
true, Gab. That's true. But I want to know. But when when I do it, I come in with, you know, with respect. You know, hey, I'm here. Hey, whoever you are, how you doing? The same way if somebody speak to me, because I feel like they giving me respect. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm good. How you doing? Because I feel like that's respect. You know, something like that's like the same way like with my father. You know, my father like, hey, what's going on, son? I don't say anything.
Yeah,
my father gonna have a problem.
A greeting is a way of establishing your security. Like, so whenever you go into a room, you speaking, you're showing respect to measure the room, to measure is it any love in this motherfucker.
But you know, like all these functions you mentioned, love, greed, a lot of that stuff is touching your heart. Touching your emotions.
I mean, hey,
real.
It's not touching my emotion.
And check it out.
I disagree. I disagree.
Let me finish, brother. Don't disagree with your emotions. But just be on real. Just so
I told you I'm a mama's boy, man.
Somebody gonna say, you know, they gonna say, "Oh, what's up?" And then they're gonna say, "Well, fuck you too." Then, you know, that's emotions, man. I mean, it's like some people just be like, they into that stuff, man. But it's hard to say that because we on some man stuff too.
No, but I'm just, I get you. You're right. I mean, I'm not gonna say fuck you. Now I'm turning around and run to fight
some people do.
I'm probably gonna be
right. I agree.
I agree. Now I probably get uncomfortable and I'll be like, okay, what's these people motive? But at the same time, I just be like, all right, I got to tread water lightly. But I'm just saying, if I'm giving you the respect, I'll just expect to get it back. So if you don't give it back to me, then okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. But I agree with you. It can become emotional, right?
Just like the compliment to the female.
Feminine, right? It could become feminine energy. I'm not disagreeing with that. But
so
I'm just saying.
Let me ask you brothers this. And I'm kind of tagging off of what Brother Supreme done put in the chat. What's the difference between someone, or should I? Well, let me rephrase that. Is this similar? Someone hurting your feelings, or you being disrespected, or are those the same things? Is it all balled up into one?
No, they should be different. I mean, I don't think that most of us, I think, who have had any, you know, training around any men know that just because you get your feelings hurt, that don't mean you got to go to blows.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot that could play a part in that. I mean, it's age, experience, shit you went through, you know. But if we just saying about towards with who you've been raised up by, I mean, that could play a major part.
I had to sit there and think about that. I had to.
If you were raised by where you never had your feelings hurt, I've noticed that with men. If you've never I've noticed too, a lot of these women, when they raise men, they don't hurt their feelings at all. And I mean, I hate to say that's one of the problems I'm going through with my woman.
Because I got to piggyback to what Taz said. That was some real shit he said, you know, because see, that's why these boys become emotionless, because what do they go through in these households? He's right about that. He's right towards with a person that, you know, that got a father or son saying, hey man, calm down, blah blah blah, trying to have them to check their emotions.
This whole discussion is kind of making me feel like, man, we might not be that clear on what a man looks like, dude.
Yeah, facts.
It's kind of exposing some of that.
I don't think we are. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we can say that we are, of course, but I mean,
this gonna be controversial. This gonna be controversial. What I'm going to say right now.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 next week.
No, but can I just say this? That's why you got the division.
I think this probably the most important thing, though, man, is that I don't think it's always supposed to look the same. We not all from the same place.
That's true.
Good point.
We don't have the same experience. I think
That's true.
the only thing that has to be the same is that we all meet somewhere understanding that we're black men raising black children. I don't think that the meeting place is supposed to be anywhere before that because of our different experiences.
But shouldn't it have a basic function? I think you're right. It's going to manifest differently according to the environment, and it's going to shape itself to look different. But I'm thinking maybe the core parts we should find them being the same, because it's not going.
But see, wouldn't that just be love providing?
Yeah, those kinds of things.
Umbrella. But I want to really chime in real quick. You know, as far as what does a man look like? That is our journey as far as getting the pieces and rebuilding, because we already knew enough history about what we used to do before slavery. We got all that. So all we got to do now is reassemble these things, you know, and make sure that we won't be able to, it won't fall anymore. That's all.
But
Art, go ahead, bro.
But at the same time, I think that's what's separating us. That's why you have this conversation with the educated Lane and the Pookie and Ray Ray. You see what I'm saying?
That's a distraction, though, like Taz and all. That's a distraction.
I agree. I said the same fucking thing, but see, it's real, and that's what I
think it was a worthy distraction.
But
because the problem is it's broad stroking. Most of the time, it's broad stroking. So
yeah,
thank you.
It needed to be cleaned up. Yes. That's why I said it was a worthy distraction, because those titles, these constructs that we've come up with, need to be reformed. And I think we have been broad stroking.
Yeah, but we're not all monolithic, man. Black people aren't a monolith, man. We're just there's probably 10 million different types of black men in this country.
Exactly.
You know, it's not more.
But you see it here on the panel.
We just meet each other.
You see it right here on this panel alone. You're seeing it. But then the next day you would still have a person have a debate talking about Pookie Ray Ray and educated lames.
Yeah, I feel like we just meeting each other in the line, man. After listening to all of these constructs and shit, dude, I had no idea it was this many motherfuckers hurt about these many different things. I didn't have any
idea that damn Real Brother Radio was in my damn chat room.
The most important thing.
Shout out to RBR.
The most important thing
you're welcome, though, brother. You're welcome to be here.
The most important thing I take from this is that the fact that you're able to have these different discussions, you may have got the answer to your problem just from a simple, hangout. So because everybody has all these different issues. Sometimes some people are too ashamed to even admit.
Yep.
But if they're able to hear something, they like, damn, that's what it is. So these things have to take place.
Because I could have never admitted some of the shit that I heard being admitted. You know what I'm saying? I think we learned a different way that, man, we learned how to say fuck shit in the hood that I grew up in, man. Shit that bothered us. We learned how to toss, or at least we thought we was tossing that shit in the trash can. And some of the shit that these brothers be talking about, I'm like, damn, I remember being in a particular position like that. How the fuck did I get past that? Because some of these motherfuckers didn't get past it. They stuck on certain aspects, and the shit is painful to them, and they acting out. You know what I'm saying?
But that's okay. But it's always a safe space. Well, I would think that if that's
I'm gonna tell you, like, it's not okay, because this is where we get into this conversation, and this is probably why it need to be a part 2. Because see, what crying about,
go ahead,
dog,
bro.
I done been through that shit. And then when I get to speaking from the experience standpoint and the way it affected my life and shit, I'm met with rejection and the notion that what I'm speaking is on behalf of women. For example, when I'm speaking about, hey, nigga, you need to go holler at your baby mom, repair your situation with her. That way, when y'all do deal with child support, you dealing with it on your feet and not necessarily laid down.
Yeah.
She just beating on you. When I say that, you got a fuck nigga somewhere saying, see, I told you he was a simp.
Yeah.
And not taking in what I said as the experienced person who went through that shit for 5 years with my baby mom back and forth with her basically controlling my son and holding him over my head, and was able to come out of that shit and deal with that shit to the point where now it's nothing like that. I've been through that shit. So when I'm giving you the experience position, I end up somehow on the simp side.
No, you and Pookie and a Ray Ray.
Yeah,
they feel like they don't have to live in the
you wearing many hats, brother.
I just want to say this to Brother Taz. Brother Taz, you do realize here on YouTube, anecdotal things are great for other people.
Right, and that's my point.
When you bring your anecdotes, they're unacceptable. So that's kind of you.
And that's why I was for to say, because you're not going to get through to everybody on YouTube. We see this, but it's. I mean, but if some you can't, because remember what Dre said. Like when he first heard you, he said he ain't like you, but once he started talking more to you, he understood you. And that's gonna be a lot of brothers on here, man. Like me too, man. Like Gab, you know, they was talking about Gab a simp. But the more I listen to Gab, I don't believe that shit, man. Gab a real dude, man. Gab wants solutions, man.
That's why I like my simp status, dog.
That's why when they started talking that shit, man, I jumped in there. I was like, wait a goddamn minute.
But I'm just saying,
motherfuckers can't be saying this shit.
but Gab, he sit back. He makes his rounds, but he wants solutions. And I mean, still, you as a brother like myself, why would I have anything against Gab? I mean, that's what he want. And Taz, man, you wanna have our talks, man. And I get it, man. But you know, even with me, everybody was saying, man,
y'all hated us at first, dog. I remember me and Taz went on Obsidians. Y'all niggas, but we was at odds.
Gab, I will admit, Gab, I never had no problem with you. Me and Taz went at it a couple times, but we talked. I don't know what were we talking about, Taz. And I was like, shit, man, I got to give this dude respect. This nigga stand on his square. Like, that's what at least you know he ain't easily swayed. You know, it's a lot of bitch niggas out there like that.
Yeah, Taz know how to fight. No matter like right or wrong, you're gonna respect his ability to fight.
Let me tell you something. I talked about this earlier about Brother Taz, and you know, people were talking a lot of shit about this brother, man. And you know, I had been on a panel with him a couple times, and I was like, you know, the shit they were saying, I was like, I didn't see any of that. You know, and I had been on the panel with the bro. We got along just fine. They were like, oh, man, don't have him on your shit. Don't do this. So you know what I did? Because I like going against the grain. One of my first hour of power shows, I invited Taz on. And even though people were telling me not to bring him on, I was like, fuck you, man.
I remember that.
Fuck out of here.
But you know one thing, you know, all you guys mostly on this panel, you're consistent. Like if somebody basically want to have a conversation with you, you're willing to have that conversation. Yeah. So, and that's how I look at it. And that's what that's basically what I was trying to say.
The content creator, I'm already that, but it was y'all two that made me realize, like, fuck, I might as well be using this shit for something, because both Gab and you both brought me on the motherfucker interviewing me, asking me, well, what you gonna do? What you here for? How long you gonna be here? You know what I'm saying? So
that's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Nigga, I got to do something then. Like, I'm just here. I am just here. I am just talking.
But I want to say
something to offer. So that brought the content creator out of me. I appreciate that.
Hey, Taz, but I still want to say you're still an asshole when it comes to debating.
Oh, God. We were getting along just fine. We were getting along just fine.
No, I'm just saying like this. Look, if you want to...
That's why I'm about to close out.
Let me say this. If you want to turn... Wait a minute now. Let me say this. If you want to put your, opinion up to scrutiny, all right, look, Taz, just be on the opposite side. I want to get my seat, make sure my opinion can hold up to scrutiny. Because Taz gonna come at it with it.
With
you bringing that heat.
Motherfuckers, bro, at once that's going against you, but like at the same time, it's not new for me. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy that.
But what he gonna make sure that your foundation is solid. So you better be making sure that's square.
That's why I fuck with you, most of you brothers on this panel, because you're at least willing to have that conversation. You're at least willing to have that debate, and I think that's what right, and that's what's needed. So that's I fuck with you guys, man. I wouldn't fuck with nobody.
You home when you here, man.
Anybody call y'all willing to have that conversation, man. That's some real shit. Because I'm the same.
When you hear
out, okay, that's that.
Change your name, Taz, from Taz Attack Dog to Taz Foundation Checker. You better make sure.
No, that's Taz Hawk. He's Taz Hawk.
Yeah, that's Taz Hawk. That's that shit up Taz Iron Man next week, man. I wish you the best, Taz.
You know,
hey Taz, perfectly fine. Hey Taz, what you gonna be for this Halloween, man? You got
you're gonna be a property inspector. No, motherfucker, I see a crack in that argument right there. Now, see, and I don't think that. No, you guys are remedial.
Well, y'all got me at the damn 4 goddamn hour mark, and my black ass got to be up at goddamn 6 o'clock. So we are close this shit out. So
okay.
Any last words? Whoever want to go can go. Go ahead and say your last little shit. Shout out your channel if you want to. I don't care.
Hey, thanks, brother X. This is Gab from Gab Talk Media, everybody. I appreciate the discussion, bro. Appreciate the invitation on up to share my shit, man. This conversation, man, I really feel like on YouTube we might be learning how to be brothers and shit some kind of way through all of this shit, man. So appreciate it.
Let me speak on this. I want to be next with this one with because what Gab said, that's a fact. You see, we from different factions. I mean, people say they bad words about Gab, Taz, probably Dre, Brother X, but you just see what we just had here today. And you see brother just trying to figure this shit out, man. So once again, Brother X, man, I appreciate you, man. Mad love to all you brothers here on this panel. And I can't shout out my channel because I ain't making no content because I'm working too much, but just appreciate being here, man. Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'll go next because I have to head out. But I mean, X, you know I love chatting with you, man. And we get to chop it up off,
man.
Off
You
air
home.
and everything.
You home. Shit, me and you, we talk behind the scenes. So
yeah. But my whole thing with everything, man, is with black male channels and so forth. I'm for whatever people want to talk about and all this other stuff. Just be able to talk about it. I'm against anybody that's trying to silence other black men from talking about whatever they want to talk about. And when it comes to that, the whole thing with this whole discussion about the fathers, I'm still of the same opinion that the streets will never be able to compare to the masculinity that a father can instill in his child. Yeah, to me, this is uncomparable. But for everybody on the chat, you know, I appreciate hearing your discourse and hope to chat next time.
Yeah, let me chime in next. I appreciate you, Brother X. I'm still working on that animation project we've been talking about. I kind of have an idea.
Take your time, man.
And me and
what you got going on, so no hurry.
I appreciate it. And me and Taz, we were talking. He was telling me about an animation thing too. So Taz, I got an idea for you too when I'm done with Brother X. So we need to chit chat. I think you'll like this one. But it was good to really hang out with the brothers, the fellas, and chop it up and try to come up with some kind of solutions and hell, just build mountains and shit. So let's just keep this forward.
It's gonna be a part 2 to this, man.
Okay, keep me in.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say some bullshit to start the next goddamn show off. Of course, I want to let it be known that the presence of a father doesn't automatically establish that this nigga won't be a mama's boy. Just because there's a father there don't mean this nigga won't be a bitch.
I seen that.
Facts. That's facts.
I definitely appreciate you inviting me on, dog. My bad, I missed the first couple hours and shit, but honestly, I'm glad it happened that way because I don't get a chance to get next to Supreme King Coon enough to have a real conversation with him. It's usually being lobbed back and forth over Obsidian's panel. So to have a short discourse with him where it's not, you know what I'm saying, as loud and, you know what I'm saying, we ain't in that type of, you know what I'm saying, environment, it was pretty cool. So I appreciate it, dog. And you know what I'm saying, you know, I always come back, man, if I'm invited and shit. TAZ exclusives, the Pale Pookie Project, Nigga, Supreme King Coon, motherfucker, go check out my channel, nigga. Stop being so fucking judgmental.
Hey man, when we gonna have our one-on-one then?
Whenever you want to. Whenever you want
All
to.
right. I tell you what, just like I told Gab, man, what we do, we'll set up over email. You just give me your email or whatever. We'll outline out everything so you can see my talking points. I want to see yours, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, just Gab got my info, Prophet got my info. I don't even need to do that, bro. Let me know when you're ready. I'll let you know mine, but I don't need to do
Coon. Yeah, you I can shoot them in your email.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Anytime,
Coon, I'll shoot it to you, Coon.
All right, man.
Is that everybody? Brother Judge, you went? He's still with
Oh
us?
yeah, I mean, pretty much, you know, like I said, it's another good show. You know, like how it went. You know, everybody go ahead and support the YouTube creators. It's nice to see that Black people can come together, still be respectful to each other, take other people's opinion in consideration, and realize that our way is not the only way. And I feel that that's one thing that us men do better than any other group of people.
Well, me, I'm just gonna close out with this. All of us, like Brother Gab had said, and a few others have said, we all, I believe, are mama's boys at some point in time. I think the question is whether or not we remain mama's boys or become bigger mama's boys as we grow older. I guess that's a question we're gonna have to answer next time. We got close to it this time, but I don't think we really drilled down on it. And I think being a mama's boy, just like everything else we talk about, is somewhat subjective. You know, we Black folks, we're not monolithic. We got a lot of subjective to whatever we got going on, where we came from, our social economic status, our educational level, whether or not we had a daddy, all that. I can go on all night, but I ain't, because I got to get up in like 4.5 hours. But we have to realize this, that we are not all the same, even if all of us are somewhat similar. And when it comes to being a mama's boy, chances are, if you get to be our age and you're still a mama's boy, it's probably because you want to be. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We're going to have a part 2 to this, but it's not going to be next week, because next Thursday I'm going to have Dr. Umar Johnson on Thursday night on DXL. It's going to be Dr. Umar Johnson next week, y'all. Live and direct. It's going to be a call-in show, and Dr. Umar is going to be taking questions. So you better have your behinds here, because I'm going to have the phone lines up. Yeah, that's right. TPOT has phone lines. Didn't know that, did you? So Dr. Umar will be in the house next week. So next week will be a little different. We're going to have a panel, but I'm going to lead off with Dr. Umar, and people can come in, you know, and ask him questions and get on the stream and all that kind of stuff. So we're probably going to have to do the part 2. Maybe we'll do the part 2 Wednesday on the Hours of Power. We might do that. Hopefully all these brothers are able to come back so we can go ahead and finish this up and do the part 2. But once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I want to thank the people in the chat. I want to thank my moderators for doing everything they got to do up in there. And most importantly, I want to thank you for watching tonight and spending some time with us tonight. I usually give y'all my long spiel about, you know, the Panty Dropper series on Patreon and Twitter and all that, but I ain't doing all that tonight because I'm tired. Because if you look down in the damn description box, you can see the shit that I be saying. So if you're really interested in it, you'll hit that thing that says show more, and it'll show you all of that stuff. All right? All right. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out, and I definitely want to thank my most distinguished guest tonight, my man, Brother BMT, Brother CRU, Brother Judge, Brother Supreme, Brother Why You Mad, Brother Art, Brother Gab, and the guest of honor, Brother Taz. All of these brothers, I have great respect for you, and thank you for coming through tonight, and I will see y'all next week. So, with that, I will leave you with 3 words, like I always do. Open your minds. And we are out of here, y'all. Peace, folks. Dark things. Yes. Only from TAZ.